Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if God like Naruto got harem with Tayuya, Femkyuubi, Kaguya and Temari, part 1, and subscribe if you enjoy the video, and also check the description. So let's begin the story. Just when things were starting to look up, said a mysterious figure sitting on top of a large skyscraper while looking down into the carnage that was shown on the streets below. You would think that people would be smart enough to listen to the military when shit like this happens. I guess there are a few who don't really understand what's going on, right, Kurama? Said the figure while looking up at the sky. The figure heard a loud snort coming from his companion. Of course you flea bags would do something as stupid as that, replied Kurama in a bored tone. Of course this would be boring after seeing it happen over and over for a few days. Some idiot would walk over to a place that they are not allowed to be and then bam, they get eaten and mutated. It was a horrible sight to most, but to the mysterious man and his companion it was an everyday occurrence. Kurama, how much longer do you think that this will last? Asked the man. With the help that you provide for those flea bags, I would say a week, replied Kurama with a grunt. Naruto, I think we should leave now that the city can help itself, and resume your training in the ninja arts, said Kurama in wise tone that made the mysterious man, now named Naruto, laugh like he was being tickled by feathers all over. Gee Kurama, you sound like you're old. And wise, I get the old part, but wise? As if, ha 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 ha, replied Naruto, who was clutching his stomach from the thought of Kurama wise. Due to this he missed Kurama's angry roar from within his mind. However, Kurama will get his payback against his blonde-haired Jinchuriki. Shut up, brat. I am the mighty Kyuubi no Kitsune, the one that can destroy mountains with but a swish of one of my 9 almighty tails, said Kurama with a puffed-out chest. Yeah. Heard it before, Kurama, it's kind of getting old, don't you think, you mountain-sized carpet, replied Naruto while pondering what Kurama had said. He was right though, he should get back to his shinobi training. It while he may be advanced in most of the subjects, he could get better. After all, there is no limit he can hit anymore thanks to the past events that led up to this point. With a sigh, Naruto pondered the most occurring events that had led up to this point in time. Flashback. We find ourselves looking at a young spiky blonde-haired boy with crimson tips sitting down on his bed reading a book about advanced Ninjutsu studies and a book about elemental chakra natures. The boy himself was about 7 with a height of 3/8 inches, around about the height of most boys his age. He currently wore a short-sleeved blue shirt with a matching pair of underpants. This boy was Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, son of the 4th Hokage, and his wife Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto was also the Jinchuriki of the Kurama, the Kyuubi no Kitsune, well, the young part anyway. Naruto was born on October 10th, a day when something terrible happened, and the terrible event was the freeing of Kurama from his previous host Kushina Uzumaki. Due to this event, Naruto and his twin sister Mito had to become the Jinchuriki of Kyuubi, Kurama, to save their home village. It was also the last day of the 3rd Hokage's life, as he had performed a self-sacrificing sealing technique which would summon the Shinigami to seal the Kyuubi, while doing so that the 4th Hokage didn't have to, so he could live with his newborn children and wife. After the sealing, the 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze, had announced that both his son and daughter had held the Kyuubi, while also telling them that Naruto held the yang part of Kurama's chakra while his sister held Kurama's yin chakra. Because of this, Mito had become Konoha's princess, while Naruto had become a demon to everyone in the village. Why would people do that? Well, because yang is the darker and the more evil part of yin and yang, so people believe that the demon had taken over Naruto's body at a young age, and due to this he is considered a demon in their eyes. Now Naruto was by far demonic. He was a boy with an amazing intellect that had shown since he was 2. How was this shown? Well, you notice it pretty easily when a 2-year-old walks and then does the tree climbing exercise right after learning to walk. However, even though he was considered, if anyone noticed him, a genius prodigy that would only appear once a few thousand years, he was pushed away by everyone, including his family. Heck, his family was even worse. They ignored him at every turn and only focused on his sister, who in turn also turned into a bitch to Naruto and took every opportunity to bully him or insult him. Now, while this would break anybody else, Naruto was one of a kind. He would not ever get broken. He would never break his nindo, and never giving up and protecting every precious person he could. He had created his nindo off his own perception of things. Now back to the boy reading his book. Damn, this is boring, thought Naruto, as he had already read everything in this book multiple times to make sure he never decreases in his Ninjutsu knowledge. Sigh. I wonder if Itachi and Shisui and is back from their mission though Naruto as he hopped off his bed and heading downstairs towards the front door. Now the Namikaze house that Naruto currently lived in was a modest house. It had 6 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms and 4 showers. The house also had an onsen in the back along with a training field used to train in secret due to seals protecting everything in the training field. Once again modest, compared to most other clans who had owned massive estates that could fit hundreds if not thousands of people in them. As Naruto was opening the door, he heard his father and mother congratulating Mito for getting the first stage of the Rasengan complete, while he on the other hand had completed the technique, even adding his affinities into it. That's right, affinities, as in multiple. Naruto himself had an affinity to all 5 main nature affinities, which are wind, water, fire, lightning and finally earth. However, while he had all 5 affinities, it was at varying levels. His wind release and water were very powerful. His wind affinity allowed him to hover, and with more training, the ability to glide or even fly. His water affinity lets him draw water from the atmosphere like the second Hokage Tobirama Senju, although not at his level. Next came his lightning affinity. While not as powerful as his water and wind affinity, his lightning affinity was strong enough for Naruto to produce red and black lightning. He found this out when his lightning affinity had started to split, then becoming different colors with different effects. The red lightning was more faster and looser than the black lightning, which meant that his red lightning could be used in area attacks, while his black lightning was more powerful and compact, making it good for single or 2-on-1 battles. Now his fire and earth affinity was around the same level, where if Naruto trained enough, his last 2 elements could reach his lightning affinity's level and maybe his water and wind affinity's level. With a sigh, Naruto walked off to training ground 44, or as most people call it, the Forest of Death. When Naruto reached the training field, he could see 2 figures battling it out with fire jutsu and rapid taijutsu techniques. Now this is what got Naruto's blood pumping. A full-on shinobi spar or fight. Now Naruto understands what shinobi do, but he still couldn't help himself when watching 2 high-grade shinobi duke it out. Once he had finished his thoughts, the 2 figures appeared in front of him. They were Itachi Uchiha and Shisui Uchiha, elite members of the Uchiha clan and Naruto's unofficial Nii-san. Itachi and Shisui and shouted Naruto as he spear tackled them into a massive hug. Truly, Naruto liked Shisui and Itachi the most in the village. However, that's only because they were the only ones who had given him the chance to prove himself. Itachi cracked a small smile while hugging his unofficial brother. He truly didn't see why or how people could think of him as a demon. "Hello Naruto-kun, did you finish your training for your special gift?" Itachi asked, and when he saw Naruto nod his head, his smile grew. "Hey!" screamed Shisui, tired of being ignored. When he had got Naruto's attention, he had a full-on smile on his face. "Naruto, did you do my training along with Itachi's schedule?" asked Shisui with a smile. He knew no matter how hard he made training for Naruto, he would always finish it, and do more than he is expected to do. It's what makes it fun to train Naruto. "Of course I did, Shisui and Who do you think you're talking to?" said Naruto with his chest puffed out in pride. "Oh really?" said Shisui with an evil grin growing, which in turn made Naruto's spine shiver at the look. "Okay then Naruto, since my training seems too easy, you have to triple it along with having resistance seals at level 20, said Shisui with a shit-eating grin on his face. Even Itachi paled a little. Having to do Shisui training was hell. Doing it 3 times more and having level 20 resistance seals was just too hard to accomplish. Hell, even he, Itachi Uchiha, thought so himself. However, he also knows Naruto's attitude, so he knows what's going to happen. Finding your training was easy anyway. "I bet you I can finish your training in a day," Shisui said Naruto with a finger pointing at Shisui in a dramatic way. Fine, let's make a bet. You do it in a day and I'll help you with the shunshin so you can get it to my level. But if you lose, you must wear a pink tutu for a week while reading Ika, said Shisui with a grin. "No way was Naruto accepted deal," shouted Naruto, shaking Shisui's hand. And in that day Shisui was depressed. His training was nothing but a little tearing for Naruto, and that he had to help Naruto with the shunshin. Itachi had watched the whole thing and could only laugh because it was priceless. Now this was usually Naruto's routine. 6:30 am wake up, eat and shower. 7:00 am training in Fuinjutsu and calligraphy. 8:00 am chakra control with Kage Bunshins. 10:00 am medical chakra and Genjutsu training. 11:00 am lunch and Kenjutsu training. 12:00 am ninjutsu. and secret training. 2:00 p.m. Taijutsu and Ninjutsu with Itachi and Shursui. 5:00 p.m. Fuinjutsu studies. 7:00 p.m. dinner and Fuinjutsu practice. 9:00 p.m. sleep. Naruto would repeat this schedule nearly every day of his life, and because of it he could safely say that he would be a mid-high jonin in terms of skills and around mid-chunin in experience, since Itachi and Shursui have many different styles due to copying their enemies' attacks, and using those attacks against Naruto, so he had a good knowledge of known attacks in most subjects. But it's the next event that would lead Naruto to his new path. Flashback end. I really shouldn't really think back to that event, mumbled Naruto, as he slowly got up, showing his appearance of 5 feet 11 inches, which was impressive at the age of 13, with muscles showing through his black skin-tight muscle shirt and black baggy pants which had been taped off at the ends, along with wearing some red and black Nike runners. Next to him sat a black jacket with hood which had red flames on the edges of the jacket, and 5 symbols going in a circle along with the 6 symbols in the middle of them. The symbols were what defined Naruto, however, due to many battles since he had left Konoha, the symbols had been ruined beyond repair. With a quick little stretch of both arms and legs he blasted off his perch towards a forest that was quite far from his original position. Kurama, how much more training do you think I will need to be able to reach the power you think I need? Asked Naruto with an even tone and a straight face, as Kurama had requested that he train till he reached a level that not even the sage of the 6 paths had reached. It had always puzzled Naruto why Kurama wanted him to get stronger than the sage, but who wouldn't want to be that strong? 6 months and you should be ready? And as to why? Well, Konoha is the next village holding the Chunin exams, right? Said Kurama with a full-face grin, which was matched by Naruto. Well, a good plan, Kurama. Imagine the faces of everyone in Konoha when they checked me out, said Naruto with a puffed-out chest while in a heroic pose. You're still a brat though, replied a bored Kurama with a shrug, which in turn made Naruto depressed, with a cloud floating over his head, raining heavily with small bits of red lightning and black lightning sparks coming out of it. Shut up, I'm going to be the one who brings peace, you hear me? And not because of the fact you said I should, said Naruto with his nose held high in the air, which made him miss the tree he ran into. Thud. Ha 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 ha, said Kurama as he rolled on the floor on his host's Mindscape, while crying tears due to laughing so hard. You son of a you #** Kurama, why the dollar #, didn't you tell me of that mother dollar, #tree, screamed Naruto, holding his nose as he knew it had healed the second of the impact due to an ability he had gained. Ha 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 ha, oh my god, a tree, a goddamn tree, knocked the mighty Naruto Uzumaki on his ass. Ha 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 ha, laughed Kurama, while using his tails to wipe the tears still spilling out of his eyes. It's not that funny, replied Naruto with his arms crossed and a pout on his face as he looked at the now broken tree. He had to admit the powers he had gained through his travels were the best, especially his black light virus ability, which he had gotten after leaving and traveling past the elemental nations. Flashback. Captain? The ship is getting destroyed, shouted a sailor while dodging flying debris which had been torn off the ship. Well, lads, we had done better than most, but looks like we aren't going any further since this is the last few moments of our lives, said the captain in a bitter tone as he looked at each of his men. However, he had noticed the small blonde-haired kid start swimming towards the storm and slowly disappearing into the clouded winds, never to be seen again. Or so he thought. Damn it, Kurama! Is this seriously the only way to get through the storm? Asked Naruto as he had been swimming through the storm for the past 3 hours and it didn't look like he was getting out of the barrier anytime soon. Kid, we are close, just about. Now, dive under, said Kurama as Naruto followed his instructions, only to find himself sitting on a large amount of sand and a lot of weird-looking things that had 4 circles and a body, and massive buildings that he had never thought were possible to be able to create. All in all, it was breathtaking. Kurama, where are we? Asked Naruto in a whisper, only due to the amount of awe he had currently going through him. We are outside of the elemental nations, which is in a dimension seal along with a barrier. Seal set up by the sage of the 6 paths, said Kurama in an even tone, but even he was amazed what he is witnessing through his host's eyes. That's just amazing, this is amazing, I can't believe that said Naruto, only to be caught off guard by something hitting him on his head. So much for his skills, although he was awed, which he had blamed his dropped guard on. What is this blackish thing? Asked Naruto while watching the black goo thing just sitting on his hand. Kurama, is it me, or is it being absorbed into me? Asked Naruto with a straight face. Seems so. Let me take a look at it. A couple of minutes later, Kurama had finally spoken. The goo is a mutated virus that is meant to turn all things into a mutant/zombie of some sort that would follow the orders of the queen or king while attacking anything else that is not a mutant/zombie. However, you seem to be absorbing it and being able to control it, which is surprising. Although you should be blacking out soon due to the rapid changes occurring due to the goo strengthening your body here, so I will see you in a bit later. And with that, Naruto fell face first onto a side bench, which he would wake up to for the next few days. Flashback end. I got to admit, thanks to the blacklight virus, my training had taken to new levels, along with doing the added bonus of infusing the blood that had been injected into my bloodstream to kill me. But you got to admit, it's ironic who they had chosen to try kill me when the blood didn't match up to any of my blood records, said Naruto with a shit-eating grin on his face. It had been a definite surprise to him whose blood had been injected into him to try and kill him through diseases because of the not matching blood. Safe to say he was extremely happy whose blood he had absorbed into himself. Kurama had a shit-eating grin, showing his massive fangs that would make most, if not all, men shit themselves at the irony of the situation. After all, the blood of the only two men aside from the sage of the six paths that could control him was now a part of his host. And now, because of it, there will literally be no such thing as a barrier to stop Naruto from becoming the greatest there ever will be. Son of a bitch, shouted Naruto with anime tears pooling down his face. The reason for this. Kurama, though it would be a good idea, pumping massive amounts of his chakra into Naruto's newly made resistant and gravity seals, which in turn maxed the seals to the maximum strength. What's worse is that Naruto had a resistant and gravity seal on each of his arms, legs and torso. Now add in the fact that gravity doubles the gravity of the seal each and every time it is upped, and then add the resistance seals that make moving look like a snail's pace each and every time it is activated. Now this would not be as bad if Naruto had used the normal gravity and resistance seals, which had a cap of 10x the amount of gravity and resistance a normal seal does. Now, since Naruto is a high-quality seal maker, he had created his own gravity and resistance seal that had gone to a level of 100x normal gravity and resistance. Currently, the 4th Hokage is only on gravity level 4x and resistance of 6x. Now, because of Kurama, Naruto is currently in a massive crater with broken bones and torn ligaments along with multiple fractures and injuries, while also wearing his gravity and resistance seal at level 100x the normal amount. This brings us to Kurama laughing his furry ass off and Naruto drowning in his own anime-style tears which had filled up half the crater he was in. Screw you, Kurama, shouted Naruto while trying to swim out of his own tears and onto soft, safe land where he could prominently pass out without a care in the world. Ha 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 ha. Well, Naruto, you know that in a few days you will be able to adjust to the weight because of the blacklight virus, always evolving along with me, speeding up the process. So if you would kindly get back to training, we could get back the elemental nations a few weeks before the Chunin exams and go see your Nii-sans, said Kurama with a slight grin as soon as he had mentioned Nii-sans. Naruto started to move and walk around, determined to adjust to his new weight and resistance so that he could meet his Nii-sans before having to learn more ninjutsu and genjutsu techniques. The reason for this is while Naruto has near perfect control of his chakra and elemental affinities, which had gotten even stronger, he had no techniques since he had not copied his father's library and instead only learned the Rasengan along with adding his affinities to it. Because of this, he was really lacking in techniques in both ninjutsu and genjutsu, although now that he thought of it, he might learn medical jutsu just so he could help Kurama heal him when he gets injured. Even though Blacklight and Kurama could make a decapitated head regrow at a rate of a few minutes, but that's only if he had enough biomass from consuming either animals or people to regrow limbs. Kurama, what do you think we should do about these fiends you told me about, said Naruto in a relaxed tone. The reason for this was after the whole Manhattan incident he had traveled and learned multiple cultures and traditions of different countries and states. It was mind-boggling for Naruto to learn so many different cultures and beliefs. Although his most favorite was the monks he had met on a hill near Japan. The monks themselves had trained him in the ways of peace and chi, which was the physical part of chakra. It took a while to separate his chakra, and because of this he had gained new abilities from it. He learned due to his strong chi and spiritual energy he could use the energies separate from each other, so instead of just chakra he also learned how to use chi and spirit energy, which he had named Ryatsu. While training with all three forms he found that chi was more powerful but not very controlled, while on the other hand Ryatsu was controlled but not as powerful. With this in mind, chakra was the one with the most potential because it could be strong and controlled to a point where chi and ryatsu don't even compare. Although chi allowed him to fly and ryatsu allowed him to sense anyone in a few miles, he knew he was only scraping the surface of his new abilities. Don't own Dragon Ball or Bleach, only using certain aspects. But currently his problems were with what Kurama had called fiends, which to him were what true demons would look like. He had faced a few of them along with what appeared to be followers. He guessed the followers were seriously ninjas with a fetish of spider symbols all over their cloths and probably their bodies if he had to guess. But unlike ninjas in the elemental nations, these were true ninjas, stealthy until seen, and they were really good opponents, although they used weapons like katanas, scythes and many other weapons he would think would be impossible to use. This was one of the reasons why he had taken to learn kenjutsu as well. His sword was special though, as it was made from his biomass. Originally it was a massive blade that was connected to his arms. But it was way too big to be used with finesse, so he had combined his biomass with a katana he had found on his journey to make the most unbreakable sword on the planet, and best part, he could use his affinities to strengthen his weapon even more. This was proven when he had defeated multiple purple fiends during his training near the mountain of Mount Fuji. Although they seemed to have stopped, he had a feeling that the beings resided in the mountain, which had currently brought a thought in his head that he should investigate. Even though his new seals were weighing him down, he felt that he could still fight an army of those fiends and make it out on top. So Kurama, what do you think? I mean, if they attacked me, they could have also attacked others and possibly killed them. I don't know if I should check or not, so what do you think, furball? Asked Naruto with a serious and slightly joyful tone that he had added at the end with the furball comment, "Shut up you brat, I am the Kyuubi no Kitsune. You are nothing compared to me." "You got that, you little meatbag," said Kurama with a snarl, but that was ruined by his happy expression on his face. He knew Naruto could fight him toe to toe and possible win, and that was with his taijutsu and kenjutsu. Even though Naruto could use his bloodlines which he had gained from the infused blood, he knew Naruto would never do that to him, even if it was to win a fight. That's what Kurama liked about him. He was always fair to everyone and gave them chances. A change that Kurama took to become his friend. Even though he was the darker half of his body, he still knew even if Naruto didn't try to become friends with him, he would have had a partnership with him later on. It brought a little sincere smile to his face, although it went away when he heard Naruto's response, "Ha. As if, Kurama, you know I can kick your ass while I have my eyes closed, and with my arms restricted. I bet I could kick your ass even with one finger, you overgrown flea bag. Hell, I bet you gained you title of the Great Kyuubi no Kitsune cause of your wet dog smell. Ha 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 ha," replied Naruto with tears streaming down his face as he had one-upped Kurama, which he regretted after Kurama gave him the mother of all headaches. Ungrateful brat. "I could beat you while sleeping." "Well, anyways, regarding the fiends, I think you should check them and consume them to gain a bit more understanding of what's going on," said Kurama with an even tone, even though he had no clue what was going on, but he was getting curious about it. "Okay, let's go, Kurama," shouted Naruto as he blasted from his little training ground at the base of the mountain, destroying many trees with his chakra-enhanced speed due to his original speed being weighed down, due to gravity and joints restricted from his seals. But he had to come to a stop when he almost crashed into an old man who was bald with fuzzy white eyebrows and white chin hair that had reached his chest and the distinct clothing of a traveling merchant that not a lot of people would see nowadays. "Hey old man, are you okay?" asked Naruto with a hand sticking out for the old man who fell due to the wind speed made by Naruto as he had stopped. "I'm quite fine, young man. What are you doing here, though? It's quite dangerous up that mountain," said the old man with a concerned look on his face. Hell, he didn't expect anyone to be here apart from a ninja with the name of Ryo Hayabusa. Don't own once again. However, he had seen him only a few hours ago, when he went to deliver the dragon gem to enhance his dragon blade. "Oh, sorry old man, but I had been fighting these purple things. I think they are good fiends." At this, the old man swallowed hard and an expression of seriousness had appeared. However, Naruto was busy talking to noticed, and I have had this weird feeling that the fiends had been living in that mountain, so I was planning to travel into the mountain and check it out, said Naruto, while the old man had slowly begun to draw out a hidden Tanto blade from his pack, ready to fight the boy who could possibly be working for the archfiend. "Old man, put your blade away. I can sense you doing it even though your emotions say you're conflicted and confused," replied Naruto with an even tone. He could feel the old man's emotions and his ryatsu and chi levels, and for an old man he was really strong. Well, for people outside of the elemental nations. "How did you know that?" I had spent many years perfecting silent kill techniques, said the old man, flabbergasted that he had found out he had completely missed the fact that the boy in front of him could sense emotions. It's a gift you could say anyway. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Senju Uchiha, said Naruto with a grin. He had figured out since he had the blood of 2 people from the Uchiha and Senju clans he might as well use the names. After all, he was technically related to them now. Naruto Uzumaki Senju Uchiha, quite a long name, my boy. My name is Muramasa, said the old man, now named Muramasa, with a slight bow, which he regretted when his hip cracked. Oh, www, my back, screamed Muramasa as he was holding his hip in pain, in which Naruto simply walked up to him and transferred some of Kurama's chakra to heal his entire body. Muramasa couldn't explain the feeling he was in pain a second ago. Now he was feeling at peace and feeling like he was a 20-year-old. The first thing he noticed was that the boy Naruto had placed his hand on his back while releasing an energy outside his body. It was similar to chi, but at the same time wasn't. It was better. But sooner or later the feeling went away when Naruto moved from his position to stand back in front of him. Hey old man, you feeling better now? I had used some of my energy to strengthen your body and heal it to a level where you won't feel any pain, although I would advise you against doing anything strange activity from now on. Traveling is fine, and all, just not skydiving or something, said Naruto with a shrug. He had seen quite a lot in his time here when traveling Europe and Asia. Although Australia was a fun place to relax, it was quiet and had a lot of places to camp. My boy, I don't know what you had done or how you had done that, but thank you, said Muramasa with a sincere smile. The boy in front of him was special. Boom! What the hell, said Naruto, looking up to what looked like a dragon with extra limbs. He had seen the old man's face when he saw the beast, and he became sad. An old man keeps safe, I fight that thing with that. Naruto ran at the speed of light and delivered a powerful cranium kick when he had reached the thing. It was truly the coolest looking thing apart from Kurama he had ever seen. It looked so badass. Then he had noticed a dude in all black on the floor with a woman helping him up. However, he was cut from his ponderings by a big-ass tail aiming to hit him into the ground. With a dash to the left, he had landed on the beast's back. His dash ability was from his blacklight along with glide, which with his wind affinity made it seem like he could fly. Although it was hard, the most he could do with his wind affinity was glide, but since his blacklight abilities allowed him to do that anyway, so there was no point in wasting his chakra, even though because of his control and amount it would take a stupid amount of constant S-rank jutsu to even waste even a quarter of what he had. Oh, look, the tail again, so original. I think Kurama actually owns that, since he has 9 tails to swipe at people. So this dragon beast thingy got nothing on Kurama. Oh no you don't, you overgrown lizard. With that, Naruto jumped high into the sky, creating his first original jutsu, futon raisin shuriken. With that, he hurled the spiraling shuriken of death into the back of the massive beast. Time to finish this. With that, he unsealed his biosword and slashed straight down, splitting the dragon into 2 while also absorbing the beast into himself. Due to this, his biosword had changed into a sword similar to the blade that the black ninja dude had across from him. The main difference of the blade though was that his blade's color was crimson with a black outline at the edges of the blade with a cross guard of a dragon spiraling around the blade. The handle also changed. Before it was just a black cloth, now it was a crimson cloth, this black diamonds going down the handle. It truly looked amazing. Hell, he could feel the power of Archfiend Dragon crossbreed in the sword. However, before it was a being of pure hatred and evil, now it seemed like a wise and controlled being. Since being absorbed into the blade, it was a nice feeling for some strange reason. Well, it was until the man started to attack him for no sudden reason. Although Naruto could tell he would get his ass kicked in a weapons fight, he would still destroy the man with his pinky finger if he bothered. Could you please stop attacking me? First the old man and now some random dude who was getting his ass kicked started to attack. Man, people today, who are you? Said the man in a cold, serious tone. It was kind of badass how he looked and sounded. Maybe he could wear a similar outfit. Yo, name's Naruto Uzumaki Senju Uchiha, number 1 badass and the ultimate ninja, said Naruto with a puffed out chest, which he lost soon because be heard giggling from the woman. Before that stopped the ninja's battle instantly. Naruto, because it was depressing, his badass moment got ruined by giggling. The man in black, because it was just stupid. With a sigh the man lowered his weapon. "My name is Ryu Hayabusa, ninja of the dragon lineage," said Ryu with an even tone. Then he noticed that the archfiend's corpus was gone and that it meant he could finally go home and help his village. "Thank you for your assistance, but I must return to my village to help with repairs," said Ryu with a light tone, and due to his mask and headgear an unreadable expression. "I'm sure also if you pass by this village near a couple of mountains about 100 kilometers southeast, can you tell them I'm okay?" I think it was called the Hidden Village. I don't know why, but yeah, it took a while to repair, though it seemed like a hurricane and fire hit it well. "See ya," said Naruto, walking away with his hands in his pockets while about to fall face first of the side of a mountain so he could start his trek home. "Wait," said Ryu with a surprisingly pleading tone. "Was there a blind man called Joe?" said Ryu, depending on Naruto's answer. Depending on what he would do. Yeah, he used to be blind. While I was there I decided to heal everyone there. I healed his eyes and most of the villagers' illnesses and disabilities. It wasn't that hard," said Naruto with a shrug. "It really wasn't hard with Kurama's chakra. If that's the case, I would like for you to come to my village and learn the ways of ninpo for your actions here and for helping my village rebuild. And if you did help my father with his blindness, I give you my gratitude. Do you accept?" asked Ryu with an even tone. However, anyone could hear the joy in his voice knowing that his village is fine. "Should I, Kurama?" asked Naruto. While he did have time to waste, he wanted to see his Nii-sans, but learning this ninpo sounded interesting, and maybe learning kenjutsu and weapons from this man would be a very good thing. While Naruto owned him in nearly everything, the one thing he couldn't hope to beat the man in front of him was with weapons. It was amazing how good he was. "I think you should. This could be another trump card, and with your jujutsu it should be easy learning them, and you can practice them while on the move. Maybe even learning how to use a bow would be good. Imagine a chakra-enhanced fire arrow would easily destroy quite a lot of things, and with wind it would do massive amounts of damage that not much could hope to do," said Kurama with a wise tone and interested posture. For once the lazy fox wasn't asleep. "Good point, Kurama. Thanks for the advice," replied Naruto through their link. "Sure, Ryu, I would love to, but how are we going to get there?" asked the curious Naruto until he heard rotor blades and the woman from before flying it. "Get on, you two. Next stop, Hidden Village." With that, both Ryu and Naruto appeared on the flying machine, which had started flying towards the Hayabusa village. "Time skip 7 weeks. Wait for it." "Dive now," said Kurama, while Naruto once again divided under the water to find himself on land. And in that situation Naruto had announced his return. "Naruto Uzumaki Senju Uchiha, the first ever Dragon Phoenix Sage, has returned." What the hell?" said Naruto while blinking at what he was seeing. It looked like an execution, but no one was supportive of it. "I wonder what's going on." Walking up from behind the large group, he heard some mummers saying, "No, not the hero of waves, or why he saved us all, and a bit of damn Gato, that filthy bastard." All from that Naruto knew this wasn't right. He knew that the man being held up right now was innocent, and the one holding the execution was the one in wrong, so, as Naruto Uzumaki, he won't let it happen. "Hey, midget bastard!" screamed Naruto, drawing the attention of everyone there along with Gato with saying the supposed crimes of the man at the execution stake. After the scream, everyone stopped and looked to the one who had said it, only to see a boy about 13 to 14 who was about 5 feet 11 inches with spiky blonde hair with crimson-colored tips, wearing a black hoodie with red lines going throughout the whole jacket. "Looks like design. Kurama's chakra mode, just not the actual transformation. However, when the red lines go to his stomach, it looks like there is an eradicate design on his stomach of a spiral with a lot squiggles surrounding it, along with 2 pointy fawn-like things pointing down towards the ground. His pants were simpler, with just plain black pants that reach his ankle and cover the top part of the shoes he is currently wearing, which would be his original Nikes of mainly black with red. All in all, he looked like someone who was just badass from just his clothing. However, Gato had to get this execution out of the way and take control of this place before dawn. Who said evil was easy? Then he remembered what the brat had said. "What did you call me?" "Kill the stupid brat now. Whoever does get 1,000,000 right here right now," screamed Gato while red in the face due to the anger he currently had at the stupid little brat. "You heard the boss. Let's kill the fucker," screamed a bandit who had charged in thinking he was getting 1,000,000 in a few seconds. How wrong. To Naruto, the bandits charging at him looked like they were walking at a snail's pace. No, seriously, without his Dijitsu this was pathetic. I mean seriously, he could fall asleep and then kick their asses. Oh well. With a tilt of his head he saw a blade fly past him which he chooses to ignore in favor of kneeing the bandit in the gut. What happened next surprised him. The bandit seriously flew back at the speed of sound, due to the strength of the hit Naruto had given him. Because of this, that single bandit flew into his colleges and killed them all due to the impact. Everyone just stared at that. This little kid, even though he was quite tall, need a man with such strength that he killed him and his colleagues due to the speed he was sent flying. It was amazing and kinda scary. What if he wanted to work for Gato? Some people started to cry. I mean, who would turn down easy money? No one. That's who, you midget bastard. Let the guy go before I tear your goddamn head off, said Naruto with a bored tone. I mean, seriously, his first fight he killed a whole group of bandits with one strike. He was holding back on. Seriously, this sucks. Unless the people here think you deserve it, said Naruto in an afterthought. Because of this, Gato started sweating. This fucking kid killed all his hired muscle in 10 seconds. What the hell did he do to deserve this? Get me as an author, laughing face. Wait kid, how about a deal, said Gato with a slight grin, knowing no one turned him down on his offers. At this, the people of the wave started holding their children closer while the man at the stake was looking down at the kid with a slight smile, which a few people noticed. If you work for me, I will pay you 10,000 yen an hour. 1 yen equals $1 just to make it easier. And as a bonus, if you kill this man brutally, I will give you some slaves to please yourself. What do you say, said Gato with W's shit-eating grin on his face. Not way someone would turn down. Hi, the hell you take me for, asshole? I'm not going to do shit for you. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and I will always help the ones in need. And I will always protect those close to me. So take your offer with you to hell, cause you just pissed me off, you asshole, said Naruto in a pissed-off tone with a hint of rage and anger in it. At that moment, the people of the wave started to cry. The heavens must have sent this boy to save them. There was just no way people do this for no reason. While people were thinking these thoughts, Gato in a last-ditch effort grabbed his cane and a sword from his dead bandits, and held it at Kaisa's throat in an attempt at stopping the blonde-haired monster from attacking him. Step one more foot closer and he dies, said Gato, who was grinning like a loon, thinking he would now be safe. How wrong? Who dies? Asked Naruto from behind Gato. At this, Gato attempted at slicing Kaisa's neck. It would have worked if he was still there. At this, Gato looks up to see Kaisa and his family hugging together with tears of joy pulling down their faces. At this, Gato looked up at his soon-to-be killer, which now looked like a god with how the light illuminated him. Naruto took no time in lifting the midget up with one hand. Gato, I don't know you at all, but from the way the people here talk about you and your previous actions tell me that you are nothing but scum. But I don't believe it. At this, the crowd was dead silent. Was their new hero going to help Gato? Was him being nice all an act? They hope not. No, you are worse than scum, trying to break families apart, crushing all their hope. No, you don't deserve to be scum because you are no longer a human. You are a sin itself that I will kill to help others. I'm not naive enough that everyone should get a second chance. However, I do give everyone a second chance, but you blew it away. So sorry, Gato. But your time ends now, said Naruto in a straight face. With a depressed tone, he slowly lifted Gato up, who by the way was shouting angry things, and threw him in the air and bio-bombed him while also absorbing Gato's knowledge for bank statements, his slavery rings and his businesses. He probably will give most of the money Gato owns to the wave and a few businesses to wave as well. Sigh. Well, that's over, said Naruto in a depressed tone. He hated killing. It truly was one thing he hated with a passion, but it was a must sometimes. A few seconds after Naruto killed Gato, the wave of people jumped up and chanted hero while grabbing Naruto and throwing him up. It truly made Naruto feel better to know that he was considered a hero here, unlike his hometown. Flashback before Naruto left age 10. Demon! Shouted a group of villagers trying to capture the Kyuubi brat. No, not their princess, but the demon boy. Why? Why do you all want to hurt me? Screamed Naruto. All throughout his life he had gained only pain and betrayal. The villagers had always hurt him, always called him names, and had always made life hard for him. You would think that being the son of the 4th Hokage would help him out, but no. Even the 4th Hokage and his wife didn't help Naruto. To them, Naruto was a failure in both a son and likely ninja, although they haven't even trained Naruto, thus they don't know how far ahead Naruto is truly from Mito and everything. And the kicker is they ignore the fact he gets beaten up. Hell, they don't even care. Then the betrayal of the Ichiraku family. Naruto always thought that he was welcome there until he found out they put poison in his ramen. That hurt Naruto the most. All those smiles while he was eating were fake, and they truly were smiling for his death due poison. It truly made him sad. Then the next people he cared about were his godparents Jiraiya and Tsunade. Tsunade didn't even try to be a godmother to him, only to Mito, but Jiraiya on the other had tried to at least talk to Naruto, but Minato the fourth Hokage always got him to tell stories to Mito about him. At least Jiraiya didn't brush him off and tried to help him. That thought brought a smile to his face. There will be people who will accept him. He just has to find them. Jiraiya was proof, he just needed to get to know him. "What's the demon smiling about?" asked a villager who had brought a kitchen knife to stab the child through the stomach for killing his cousin's wife's sister-niece cousin's child he was rewarded with. Silence. When he had turned around, the only thing he had saw was two gleaming red eyes with three black tomos spinning slowly. After that he fell to the ground unconscious. Naruto only looked in the pair of eyes and slowly he smiled a smile that reached his eyes, and with that Naruto ran to them and gave them a hug while both of the owners with the red eyes returned it. Yes, Naruto now knows it is possible to get people to accept him if he tries hard enough. With tears streaming down Naruto's face, he slowly falls asleep hugging his new unofficial NII sans. Flashback end. With a smile, Naruto was let down so his feet were touching the ground below him. With a fire in his eyes, Naruto shouted a few words that made the villagers tear with joy. The wave is free. And with that there was a party that ranged for 3 days and nights, all while celebrating a new hero of the wave. Which brings us to Naruto sleeping on a bar table with a bottle of sake held in his hand. Due to his blacklight virus, which he now considers a bloodline, and Kurama, he could never get truly drunk and he can enjoy the taste of sake when he celebrates, and not accidentally kill anyone while drunk. I mean, what do you get when a drunk person with strength that can shatter mountains gets pissed off and tipsy? Total destruction in the general area and a few miles around it. Truly Naruto enjoys life. Excuse me, said a voice that sounded like he met his superhero for the first time. When Naruto looked down, he saw a kid with a bucket hat wearing light blue overalls with a tan shirt underneath looking up at him with admiration. It truly warmed his heart that he saved this kid from feeling the pain Gato would have surely done if he hadn't helped out. Yes, asked Naruto with a slight smile and a relaxed posture. I mean, when you are nearly indestructible, it is kinda hard not to enjoy being relaxed in a safe area. Even though it's not a good thing to do. You're the hero of the wave, right? Asked the kid with hope growing in his eyes. Along with his eyes, he could also tell that there was excitement in them as well. Yes, that's me. Whatcha need, a little guy? Asked Naruto with his smile still in place. Oh. My Two-san told me how you beat up Gato, and saved everyone along with the previous hero of the wave. That's so cool, and because of that you have to see what the others have done outside. Look, said the child with energy that only children could possess. Ha ha ha, okay, I'm coming, said Naruto with a small grin on his face as he stood up and left a generous tip for the bar worker before he walked out. Following the small child, they had walked until they had seen what was built in the middle of the small village, and what it was shocked him. It was a picture of him with his arms crossed and a smile on his face looking out toward the front of the village. It was amazing they did this in only 3 days while drunk. And the statue had been made with almost perfect detail. They even had the symbols on his back, which most had not noticed while he was beating Gato. The symbols was a 6 magatamas on the outside in a circle. Then, on the inside there was the kanji for the names of all the tailed beasts, going from the first tail Shikaku, Matatabi, Isabu, Son Goku, Koko, Saiken, Chome, Gyuki, and finally his partner Kurama, and in the middle of it was 3 connected tomos. No one really knows what that means because Naruto is the only one who knew what it means. Still, it was nice seeing people doing it for him. While Naruto was pondering, he heard a few people talk about making a bridge so their trade could be a lot more easier and better. Listening to their points, Naruto had an idea about that after finding out where they were making the bridge, which was at the front of the village. Naruto waited till everyone went to sleep. With everyone asleep, Naruto continued with his plan. Standing in front of an edge of a cliff, Naruto put his hands together and guided chakra into the ground. After a few seconds of waiting, hundreds of roots shot from the cliff face and connected with the other side. Forcing more chakra in, he made the wood clean itself so it was flat and straight, along with being shining, which signaled that the wood being used was a special type of wood that was more durable than steel, and it was resistant to fire. After that he made more roots turn into fences that surrounded the bridge to make sure it was as safe as it could get. It took around about an hour because Naruto actually had no jutsu or way to train his Mokutan chakra, so it was easier to use. Currently he was finishing up on the bridge by adding supporters underneath the bridge. Even though it wasn't necessary, it was just so the people felt safe going across the bridge. With the bridge done, Naruto decided to fall asleep while leaning against the fence he had made. Soon soft snoring was heard coming from Naruto. What he didn't know was that the small child from before was watching the whole thing moving away from Naruto's spot. He quickly gathered people who were still awake to get everyone else to see something Naruto did. The villagers did so in a few minutes, and when everyone saw the bridge they smiled and waited for the child to wake up tomorrow. When Naruto came to, the first thing he saw was that there was people surrounding him. He first though he was under attack until he saw he was on his bridge. Hi everyone, Naruto spoke, still half asleep. He slowly got up and got into a massive group hug with nearly everyone in the wave. It was kinda cool, everyone liked him and all. Kid, said an old man by the name of Tanzania, which Naruto heard when he was listening to the plans of the bridge yesterday. You are truly an amazing child, thank you for this, it really is amazing you would go so far for us, complete strangers, so with 100% support. Everyone thanks you for your actions, said Tanzania with a smile. He couldn't explain the feeling he was feeling. His daughter still had her husband and his grandchild still had his father. It was amazing. And no problem guys, said Naruto, rubbing the back of his head with a hand while standing up. Oh, also I'm letting you all name the bridge, okay? But also I gotta go, I only plan to stay here at least 5 days and I better get going, so yeah, thanks for all your kind words and I'll maybe one day see you all again later, said Naruto, as he started to walk away until he couldn't be seen due to the forests. That is until Naruto ran back while one again rubbing his head. Oh, also the bridge is made of a special wood that is stronger than steel and along with being fireproof, so no need to add anything to it, okay, said Naruto with a big smile on his face. So see ya later. Again, said Naruto as he dashed into the forest with Kage level speed, which was once again restricted of his usual speed, but while he was running he still heard the name of the bridge and smiled. He heard the cheers of the new name, the great Naruto bridge. It brought more joy to him. All his life he was fighting against others, trying to make them see him for him, and not the fur ball inside of him. No objection to being called fur ball. Yup, Kurama's asleep, lazy asshole. At that point he heard a slight grumble from his mind. Sign, oh well, summoning jutsu. And with that a poof could be heard and a small phoenix had appeared. Once the small animal saw Naruto, it nested in his hair. Which miracle didn't set his hair on fire. With a cute squeaky voice the little phoenix asked why she was here. Naruto and I-san, why did you summon me? Squeaked the little fire bird. Hey Rai, I was wondering if you could scout ahead and tell me how far Konoha would be. After that I'll give you some sweats, okay, said Naruto in a loving way. He truly loved his summons, both the dragons and phoenixes. They made him feel safe, along with the grumpy fox, but he won't tell him that till late. Heard it, said Kurama with a smirk. He also wouldn't say that he took cared for Naruto. And I heard that fussball, said Naruto with a smile. Okay, and I-san. Ah look, also mommy wants to see you soon, said the tiny phoenix as she flew off. Naruto smiled. He truly did love his unofficial family. And with that he set off to Konoha. That's the sight Naruto met when he walked up to the front of the gate. The 2 Chunin gate guards playing poker and ignoring his presence. So what does Naruto do? Prank them. Quickly applying a ninpo he learned from the shrine maidens, he changed himself into a beautiful woman he had met while in the Hayabusa village. Her name was Kasumi, dead or alive Kasumi, and she was a very developed woman who was so badass and cute it wasn't funny. Naruto and Henge slowly walked up to the 2 Chunin, making sure his transformation's breasts swaying left to right along with the hips shaking. He grabbed both Chunins by the shoulders and asked in a sexy voice that had hooked the 2 Chunin instantly, may I please enter the village? The 2 Chunin just nodded before they both shot back with massive nosebleeds that had painted the whole booth red. With a laugh and a camera shot, Naruto transformed back to normal and simply walked through the massive gates to Konoha. Seems that this pathetic village hasn't changed much, said Kurama, with a grumble at being back in the village that had sealed him not once not twice but 3 times. Although his 3rd time was very good. Well, for him, he doesn't know about his other half. Maybe that's something he could think about later on. So what's first on the agenda, Naruto? First is relieving my blood clone from his duty. I guess I don't know if he was pampered after I left or treated worse. Guess I'll see soon, said Naruto while locking on his blood clone's signature. Now you might be wondering how Naruto knows the blood clone jutsu? Well, he actually learned it before leaving. He didn't want people going after him as soon as he was classified missing, kinda why he left Elemental Nations in the first place. He had created the clone with his personality to see how the influence of the villagers affected him. Now the clone knows he is a clone, and he doesn't really have emotions itself, but he displays them for the experiment. Although since it's a blood clone, Naruto will gain its memories even if Naruto tried to ignore them. With that thought, Naruto arrived to a broken apartment, not really where he expected his clone to be. He must be there to visit someone. He walked up the stairs and finally reached the room where his clone was. The first thing that greeted him was the word demon written on top of the door itself. Expecting the worst, Naruto slowly opened the door only to tilt his head to the left, dodging a kunai that would have taken an eye out, and probably kill someone if they didn't know of it in the first place. Walking into the room, Naruto heard someone crying, walking to what looked like a bedroom. He went to the bed and flipped the cover off to only see something that brought tears in his eyes. There his clone was crying while holding on to another two people. These two people had distinguishing features that had made them stand out, but looking to why he was crying, there was the clone malnourished beyond point, looking frail and beaten, then the two people looking at his clone with tears streaming down their faces. When they finally looked up at their assailant, they gasped. There in front of them was almost a perfect copy of the boy they had been with for the past 2 months. With a small hint of fear, they both asked in a defeated tone, "Are you here to kill us? I know that we don't have the money to pay for this place, but we can't afford it. Please give us a chance," asked the two. Now that Naruto looked at them full on, he noticed they both were girls. One of them had blackish blue hair that probably reached the top of her shoulders in a wavy manner, and had soft black eyes that had the emotion of suffering in them, soft light lips quivering from sadness. She barely had anything on her person, only a loose black shirt with long pants, both in black. Her skin had a shine to it, but you could see some bones. She probably was only lightly malnourished. The other one though had blonde hair with red tips at the end, sort of like his hair. She had blue eyes, sort of like his old ones. By old ones he means before blacklight had changed his eye color. It was cooler crimson, and the Dijitsu he had also gained strength due to the virus/bloodline. She had red lips that too were quivering like her counterpart. She too had a loose shirt, however her shirt color was green, while her long loose pants were white instead of black. Finally he assesses his clone, and it was so sad it shown him how much it was a right choice to leave the village. Deciding to end the suffering he had placed the clone under, he grabbed his head and said in a tone that made the 3 occupants on the bed relax, "Blood clone, I'm sorry for all the pain I had caused you by leaving you here. But thanks to you I can finally protect my precious people, and because of that I will remember to summon you as a clone when I get a better suited technique, so thank you, and I will promise that I will protect you, friends. Thank you, and enjoy the rest you deserve." With his peace, Naruto dispelled the clone, who had given his creator a smile knowing his friends were safe and he could finally relax. With a poof, Naruto's clone dispelled into nothingness. Naruto quickly grabbed his head due to the memories of his clone, and the one thing he had to say was, "I'm sorry." It truly was hell on earth for the clone. And Naruto reviewing all that happened to him, but the most occurring events were when his family disowned him in front of the village Itachi, and Shursui had to become Anbu for the village, and because of that, Itachi, his Nii-san, had to give up on him. It hurt, really hurt, but Shursui, he is his true brother. Even with people against it, he was always there for his clone. Hell, he even took to wearing a kitsune mask in his honor. It was one of the most pleasant moments of his clone's memories. Next was finding Toki Senju and Satsuki Uchiha, the 2 women next to him. He saw how Naruto saved them by accident when he had found Orochimaru's hidden base, where he had found the 2 members in test tubes ready to be tested, but due to Konoha making Orochimaru escape, they had been safe. Then the next lead to his clone becoming really close to both of them. Seems as if his clone was dense because he could see that they both loved him easily. Whether it was from his actions as a person or from saving them, he doesn't know. Then came the 3 of them attending the academy. It was easy to see that his clone was sabotaged in everything, whether it was education or taijutsu. It was horrible, but even worse was that Toki and Satsuki were treated bad because Naruto was friends with them. Although they hadn't gotten sabotaged, they constantly got picked on because in others saying they were nobodies who could get killed and no one would care. That pissed him off instantly. Then came the Mizuki incident where his clone had stolen the forbidden scroll from the Hokage office and learned the Kage Bunshins, which was ridiculously easy. After that his clone had copied a few techniques that went with the Kage Bushing, like the Bunshin Daibakuha and Shuriken, and Kunai Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. They were great techniques, and the best part was that his clone had copied every Mokuton Jutsu ever made along with the elemental training for it. Then came the events of now apparently Naruto, Toki and Satsuki had to pay 5 times the cost of the actual price to live here, and because they couldn't get enough today they were expecting to get kicked out and thrown on the streets. That saddens him to no end, so with a jump he picked both girls and placed them in a fireman position, and jumped out of the house and into the forest of death. Now both girls were scared a stranger would kill Naruto, or dispel him, and then take them to the one training ground everyone was afraid of, and then set them down. Satsuki, thinking for the worst, said if he could kill them first before raping them, or at least knock them out for it, and Toki also saying things along the same line. That made Naruto cry a bit. Who could do this to others? He knew it was hatred for Kurama, but seriously it wasn't right. With a sigh, Naruto sat on his ass in a cross-legged position, looking ahead of him into Satsuki's eyes and Toki's. He started talking. Hi, my name's Naruto Uzumaki Senju Uchiha, formerly Namikaze, it seems. Although I got an idea of what to change my last name into because it's too long. My likes are Toki Senju and Satsuki Uchiha, who I had found in Orochi times test tube 3 years ago. My other likes are sleeping and cuddling with you and eating ramen with the two of you. My dislikes are rapists, cold-blooded killers, perverts, and those who treat you both wrong because of who I have inside me. My dreams for the future are to become the best Hokage ever and to bring world peace like the how Jiraiya had tried to do and like how the Rakuta Sannin had done. My hobbies are spending time with you both and practicing Fuinjutsu along with training and secretly helping you both in gardening. As soon as Naruto said his hobbies, both girls bolted into him and grabbed him by the neck. How dare you! Pretending to be Naruto-kun, you bastard! Screamed Satsuki with her Sharingan activated with 2 tomos spinning wildly, with Toki summoning some roots to keep him in place. But what he said next brought them from anger to love and tears. I won't hurt my Heims, no matter what. I would kill myself before I do that, Databail, said Naruto with a smile. Slowly, Satsuki and Toki stood up and glomped on him, silent tears streaming down their faces. Are you still are Naruto? Asked Toki quietly. The clone had my personality before I left. He was an exact copy and I have his memories, and I can say without a doubt I am the one you both have a massive crush on, right, Satsuki-chan? Toki-can, said Naruto with a grin. He was rewarded with the two blushing. Standing up, he held a hand out for them both. Now would you girls like to live in a mansion or 2-story? Asked Naruto with a grin. He definitely was rich enough for it after the whole Gato thing, and now due to it Naruto now owns a company called Uzumaki Spirals which sells most items and has many businesses along with it, so he was pretty loaded now. But first off we are going shopping, okay? And first thing first, said Naruto with a serious expression which sort of made the two girls start to back away slowly, getting ramen Databail. After he said that he got a slap to the back of his head which made him chuckle. He really liked Satsuki and Toki. After seeing his clone's memories of them he couldn't help but comment though, and because of that he would be on the ground holding his head from the pain. Ouch, Satsuki-chan, keep hitting me and I might confuse you for a stronger Sakura, ha ha ha, said Naruto with a cheeky grin until he was holding his head because of a stronger strike. Okay, I'm sorry, please have mercy, said Naruto crying and holding on Satsuki's leg pleadingly. Finally she gave a sigh and let him up without smacking his head again. Thanks, Satsuki-chan. Man, you seriously, you and Toki's strength from my memories are no joke, said Naruto with a grimace as he rubbed the swollen bubble on his head. Man, it hurt. So back to the question, what do you want for a house, said Naruto, as he had already purchased a massive plot of land at the top of the Hokage monument. But it was quite a bit off from the Hokage office, which gave a lot of privacy. What do you mean, Naruto-kun? You must know that we were broke, right? Asked Toki with a tilt of her head which indirectly made Naruto think of cute. Well, I have been out of the village for 3 years and I have gained abilities that would shock you to your core, so let's go to our plot of land and you tell me how you want the house. Okay, ladies, said Naruto with a smirk worming onto his face. He couldn't wait to see their expression when he made the house from his Mokuton. Satsuki grabbed Naruto's left arm while Toki had grabbed his right arm. With both securely on, he used the Shunshin to travel to his plot of land. Now girls, describe the house, said Naruto while taking out a notebook and thinking of something that he wanted in his house. I would like to have a training field behind the house along with the onsen connected to the house so we don't have to go outside to go into it, along with having an indoor pool once again connected to the house, so also a green room so we can garden, said Satsuki with a finger on her chin, and imagining how in the hell Naruto was going to be able to make everything before night. Finally Toki decided on how the house would be made. Okay, 3-story with an underground basement which should be held as a library and jutsu practice area, with the first floor living room and kitchen along with a theater room and game room. For the second floor I would like it to be sleeping area with 4 rooms, 1 main room that can hold the 3 of us, because frankly I've gotten used to sleeping with both you and Satsuki in that room. I would like it to have a massive walk-in bathroom along with closet. For the other 3 rooms I would like them each to have a bathroom, but not as big, with smaller closets. For the 3rd story I would like a study room, and I would like all of this to be in a modern type of building. With her piece said. Toki fell silent while looking at Naruto with an expecting look, and Naruto took this as his cue to start. Alright. Girls, move back a bit, and be prepared to be amazed, said Naruto in an excited tone with a fire burning within his eyes. When Toki and Satsuki moved back, Naruto positioned his hands into a prayer-like hand sign. This made both girls' eyes widen with shock. There, Naruto couldn't do that, right? Naruto, waiting for the anticipation to get high enough, made his chakra flow, which had slowly made the ground shake. Soon thousands of roots raised from the ground and formed the house both Toki and Satsuki had imagined. It was amazing to both girls. They seriously wanted to jump Naruto, but had waited until he was done. 15 minutes later and their dream house was done, and that was the cue to jump Naruto and kiss his cheeks, which Naruto responded with a massive blush that would have made a tomato jealous. Ha ha ha, it was nothing, you know, said Naruto with a stupid grin, at which Toki and Satsuki kissed his cheek again. It really was their Naruto, and not just a fake. Well, we still got to go get furniture, said Naruto in an even tone. He really doubts anyone would remember him unless they see his whisker marks, which had now looked thinner and closer to his face. But we can't afford it, Satsuki reminded Naruto with a pout, which was washed away when Naruto pulled out a suitcase from somewhere and opened it up to show thousands of yen all stacked neatly in the case. As soon as Naruto pulled his case out, he was literally dragged around buying everything the girls had wanted. He had heard multiple comments from villagers but chose to ignore them in favor of enjoying Satsuki's and Toki's time together. Near the end of the day, as they were walking by Ichiraku, Naruto smelt the sweet smell of ramen and couldn't help himself enter. So what if they poisoned his ramen? He couldn't die from it, so what's the harm dragging Satsuki and Toki with him? Naruto sat down in the middle of them both and ordered himself 30 bowls or chicken ramen, with both girls ordering 1 beef and miso ramen. Now the Ayam had seen Kushina Uzumaki and her daughter eat 7 bowls of ramen before getting full, but this kid literally ordered 30 bowls of chicken ramen. It was amazing. While she was spacing out, Naruto spoke for the first time since entering. Oh, Ayam, also do me a favor and not put poison in my bowls, please, said Naruto with a smirk, while Ayam, looking closely at Naruto, paled. How was this possible? What happened to the twerp who she had beaten up last week with her dad? Looking at Naruto again, he flashed her a grin. Ayam, if you do this for me, I will pay you 20,000 yen along with a tip of 10,000, but you have to sit and have some ramen with me as well. I want to see if I'm so bad. Do you accept? Ayam now started sweating. Her dad wasn't, because he was on a business trip and would be gone for a few weeks, and it had been harder to get customers since the twerp Naruto stopped coming a few months ago. She didn't know why, but it was getting harder to pay the rent, and if she got this she could pay for the whole stall. With a sigh, she had accepted. Fine, but if you do anything you'll scream, said Ayam in a suspicious tone. 30 minutes later we find Ayam laughing her ass off and enjoying the company of Naruto and his friends. Then he was like, "I am impossible," and started to cry, said Naruto, pissing himself laughing like the other 3 occupants there. It was amazing. 30 minutes prior to meeting Naruto, Ayam was defensive and suspicious. It truly was amazing how Naruto could make friends of most of his enemies. So that's why Sure Sway of the Shunshin had worn a pink toto on his missions for the week. I mean, he came in twice, and he was wearing a mask, but because of Minato wanting him to follow the bet, told everyone of his identity. He was a laughing stock for a week. It was hilarious, said Ayam, crying in joy. It was so fun talking to Naruto and his friends. She definitely got him all wrong. Yep, say, does anyone have pictures? Naruto asked, only to see everyone shake their heads. Damn, no blackmail. Toki, who had almost fell off her chair, saw the flaps to the stall open, looked on in worry, as the only people she thought Naruto couldn't stand were right there, Minato Namake's Kushin and Namikaze, and finally the heiress of both Uzumaki and Namikaze, Mito Uzumaki Namikaze. Ayam had seen them enter and gasped until Naruto looked. You could hear a pin drop at that moment. Satsuki and Toki were ready to hold Naruto back and Ayam was ready to help the others hold him back, but Naruto simply stared until a grin formed onto his face. He will never hate his birth family for what they did, but he sure as hell isn't going to be friends with them. So looking back at his ramen, Naruto continued with his story. So yes, Shursui had actually cried because he lost the bet. Then Itachi had laughed as well. He actually laughed. Man, I haven't heard a high-pitched laugh before. I mean, after Itachi laughed, he threatened to tie me up naked on a flagpole because of me hearing it. Man, his face, though, it was too much, said Naruto with tears once again pulling down his face, which was shared with the rest of the girls until the Hokage asked for service. Sorry, Naruto-kun, gotta work. Are you still going to be coming back later? Asked Ayam as she started to take notes of what the Namikaze family wanted, although when she asked that, they had turned their heads to look at who she called Naruto-kun, and their jaws dropped instantly. They could tell that was their disowned son, but at the same time they knew he was different, which had shocked them into silence since they had seen the child a few days prior. Of course, Ayam. And Ai-chan, said Naruto with a grin splitting his face as Ayam glomped on him, saying that before when she had hated Naruto she despised him for saying that, but now it felt nice, really nice to hear that. Okay, Naruto-kun, be safe, and Satsuki-chan, Toki-chan, keep him away from trouble. Okay, said Ayam with a grin on her face, which made Naruto retort with a hey, while both Satsuki and Toki grinned, then pinched Naruto on the face and start dragging him out to their new house, or they would if Mito hadn't decided to butt in. Hey! Losers, what were you doing in here? No wannabe ninjas allowed where they make the food of the gods, said Mito with a superior tone. At that, Naruto's eye twitched multiple times before replying, if that is true, then those with impure hearts may not enter this divine palace at which they serve the food of the gods. Now be gone those of foul hearts, said Naruto in a powerful sage voice, but that was ruined with his cheeky grin that had snuck up on his face. He could hear Ayam laughing as he walked out and Mito's rants. Our life is good for Naruto and his two favorite girls, who had resumed pinching his face again. Graduation day. A day where children become ninjas for their village. A day when children become serious and wise adults ready to lead the future. Well, that's the idea. Graduation room. Shut up! Screamed Iruka as he had been waiting for the past 10 minutes for people to shut up so that he could finish the role. When everyone fell silent, he started from where he was interrupted from. Okay, Uchiha Sasuke, said Iruka, only to hear a grunt from the Uchiha in the middle row. Okay, Uzumaki Naruto, said Iruka with a small smile. During the time Naruto was in his class, he had started to like the kid. He was just misunderstood, expecting Naruto to be late and fail again. He didn't expect to hear Yo-sensei looking around for an orange jumpsuit. He thought he was hearing things until an eraser hit his head, making him look up only to see a child with spiky blonde hair that reached his shoulders with crimson tips at the end, wearing a black jumper with crimson patterns traveling throughout the entire jumper. Same jacket from before, including writing and symbols on back. And also wearing black umbu pants with black bandages wrapped his left leg, which was sticking out of the rows, and also wearing black sandals. Iruka had no idea who he was until the child pointed his finger to his face, where there were faint whisker-like marks adoring his face. Instantly Iruka figured out who he was. He was Naruto Uzumaki, and his face did nothing to hide the shock he had held. At this point the whole class, with the exception of Satsuki and Toki, stared gaping at him until a voice only a monkey screeching could make spoke. Naruto, stop trying to make Mito and Sasuke look bad, you stupid baka, screeched out the owner of the monkey voice, Sakura Haruno, the leader of the SUFC, the Sasuke Uchiha fan club. It was funny watching Sasuke suffer. The dude was a total prick in Naruto's books. Hokage office. Sitting in a room were the new Jonin senseis who would be collecting their teams soon. However, they all wanted some information on their behaviors first, and thus watching with the Hokage the graduation class. Currently Kakashi was crying anime tears when he had heard Sakura's voice and asked if anyone wanted to trade, but that ended in a failure instantly. But what happened next made Kakashi want to trade his whole team up in an instant. Graduation class? You say something, asked Naruto, who was busy talking to Kurama on how to make a tailed beast bomb with only his own chakra. While it would be weaker if he infused, say, his wind element, it would probably rival his futon, Raisin Shuriken in raw power and destruction. Finding himself spaced out again, he missed the shocked looks he had gotten from everyone else. Hokage office. Nope, sorry sensei, I want him as an apprentice. We would work so well, said Kakashi, as he was planning if he got the kid to be his apprentice a face mask and a copy of Ika. But alas, he was denied. No, Kakashi, I do not care, you will have Sakura, Mito, and Sasuke under Team 7. Got that, said Minato in an annoyed tone, as he didn't want another Kakashi look-alike, and worst of all, Naruto. Fine, said Kakashi, silently crying. All that time he could be reading Ika with the kid gone. Maybe Sasuke would be into Ika. Is everyone happy with their teams? Asked Minato with his fingers in front of his face. He still needed to call Naruto, Toki and Satsuki into his office about the lack of Jonin. Also Asuma, tell Naruto, Uzumaki, Satsuki and Toki to come to my office ASAP, said Minato, still looking into the crystal ball and seeing how Mivo is doing. With that said, the Jonin had left their Hokage in the office himself. Graduation room. Okay, each of your Jonin senseis will pick you up any minute, so here are the teams. 1 to 6 not important. Team 7, Sakura Haruno, Mito Uzumaki Namikaze, and finally Sasuke Uchiha. Team 8, Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka and Shino Aburame. Team 9 still in circulation. Team 10, Ino Yamanaka, Choji Akimichi, and finally Shikamaru Nara. At that moment Asuma walked in Team 10 with me. Also Naruto, Uzumaki and Satsuki and Toki. The Hokage want to see you. With his piece said, he walked away with his team in tow. Shrugging, Naruto grabbed both Toki and Satsuki by the hips and disappeared with a shunshin, only to reappear in the Hokage office, which had shocked Minato, thinking that Naruto didn't know that jutsu. Minato, putting a poker face on, started to say something until Naruto spoke up. There was not enough Jonin, and we were unlucky enough to not gain one. It really doesn't matter. I think that me and my 2 lovely friends here will be enough to take on S-rank missions in about a year without a Jonin supervising us, said Naruto with a bored look which shocked the other people in the room, including the Anbu stationed in the corners of the room. Minato, recovering quickly, made a try to say it would be best if they wait for a Jonin, got once again cut off by Naruto with an interesting offer. How about this, Hokage-sama? I bet that me and my 2 teammates will be the strongest team with the most successful mission ranks by the start of the Chunin exams. If I win the bet, my team and I get something from your personal collection, and if you win I will tell you a secret that would instantly put me on for the CRA. How about it? Asked Naruto with a raise of an eyebrow while he watched Minato put some thought into it, but instantly thought that Naruto was bluffing. Call him on the bet. Fine, I agree to the terms. Come here Monday to start you missions. Remember, you need at least 30 D-rank missions before getting asking for a C-rank. Okay, said Minato, thinking that they wouldn't last a week without a Jonin sensei guiding them. Okay, I agree to the terms, said Naruto, walking away with his 2 teammates. When they were gone, Minato called one of his Anbu to his side. Look after them and assess if they can do a decent job as ninjas. Okay, said Minato, getting a nod from the Anbu as he disappeared with the Shunshin. Training ground 43. Okay, Satsuki, Toki, let's hear what you're good at and what you're not good at, said Naruto, sitting cross-legged waiting for the 2 to start. I have a good grasp on the Academy 3 and a decent taijutsu, and I also have the Mokutan bloodline due to my grandmother had an affair with Hashirama before he met Mito Uzumaki, said Toki in an even and relaxed tone. At this information, the Anbu in the tree forced himself to stay put and not tell the Hokage what he had just heard. Okay, cool, I was wondering where you got the Mokutan bloodline from. What about you? Asked Naruto with a tilt of his head. Academy 3 point of mastered, and I also have the Great Fire Ball Jutsu, and I am mid-chunin in taijutsu when I use my Uchiha interceptor stance along with my Sharingan, what has 2 tomos in it, said Satsuki, in a proud tone, thinking she probably had the best states there. That was until Naruto spoke. Okay, I have 3 bloodlines and Kyuubi in me, which grants me a higher healing rate, and because of one of my bloodlines which I had developed while I was out training, I get near instantaneous regeneration and the ability to consume and shape-shift. By consume I mean once I kill an opponent I will have the choice to break apart their DNA and absorb it into my body. With this I gain the target's memories, skills, and bloodlines if they have any. My second bloodline is the Sharingan, which I had evolved into its Mangekyo Sharingan form by having Kyuubi place some chakra into my eyes. Because of that I didn't have to kill anyone to gain them. My Mangekyo Sharingan give me the moves Amaterasu, Susanoo, Kodo Amatsukami and finally Kamai. Along with this, my Sharingan lets me turn back time for at least 5 seconds if I so choose to do so. However, it is a massive chakra waste, even though I doubt I could ever get chakra exhaustion due to me having perfect control and a tailed beast amount of it. My final bloodline is Mokutan, and I will tell you later on how I had gained both. Sharingan and Mokuton. My natural abilities is Kage level speed with my resistance seals on. Tsunade with chakra enhanced strength, as my natural raw strength heightened senses due to Kyubi. My skills are Kage level Taijutsu, Kage level Kenjutsu, 100% control of chakra, Buji chakra amount, Fuinjutsu sealing master, and finally Sage of both the Dragon and Phoenix clans. I also have 100% over all 5 main elements, and I am starting to do the Mokuton element training soon. Because of this I can bend all 5 elements to do attacks without much hand seals. Currently I have the Rasengan, which I had upgraded to multiple elemental Rasengan. My strongest however is Futon Rasen Shuriken, which is a throw-able Rasengan. I can also do the Kage Bunshin and Great Clone Explosion along with the Kage Bunshin forms of Kunai and Shuriken, and that's mostly it I think, said Naruto, scratching his head in complete thought. I mean, he learned a lot of shit in his time away, and I mean, how do you tell people that without sounding like you're overcompensating? I mean, imagine if he said he could use the physical and spiritual part of chakra separate, and being able to fly along with doing ninpo attacks that could be each classified as A rank or S rank. Now that he thinks about it, he really is around the sage's level. Fuck yeah, fist pump moment FTW. Satsuki just stared blankly, then fainted, while Toki had for some reason started to blush and panned at the thought of Naruto being that strong. Hey, it's true what they say, power attracts. And the Umbu in the tree was seriously wondering if that was possible, until he looked down and saw his food connected to a root that started from the floor. With a tug, the Umbu was held midair by multiple roots, while Naruto had appeared in front of the Umbu in a nanosecond of a second, which had the effect of him really believing what Naruto said about abilities now. Deciding to start, Naruto spoke in an even tone. Are you happy with the current information I had given you, Umbu? Tell the Hokage I aim to win the bet, and also have a nice day convincing him that you're not on drugs. With that, Naruto made the roots flung the Umbu towards the direction of the Hokage tower. Because of this, he had missed a tree that had a dead root Umbu on one of his branches. Walking up to the 2 girls, Naruto asked in a happy tone, so ready to start the training. At this, both girls shuddered. They were going to die. If what Naruto said was true, they were going to die. Come on ladies, only a few more miles, said Naruto, jogging on the spot while wearing additional weights and resistance seals so that he would only be at around high Jonin level in speed and reflexes, so that his 2 teammates could hopefully keep up. That was until he had noticed that they weren't even in his eyesight. Signing, he activated his Sharingan to see where their chakra signatures were, and he could barely spot them at around the 10 kilometers range. Disappointed, he shunshin to their location to only see a passed out Satsuki and a dry heaving Toki. Signing again, he picked both them up and Sunshine D back to his current house, where he dropped both of them on the main bed and left to do his own training. For the last few months, Naruto had kept his promise that he would make Team 11 the most successful team there was between the rookie 15. Team 11 had completed 62 D ranks, 34 C ranks, 21 B ranks, and finally 13 A ranks. The only reason he had been able to get the C, B, and A ranks were because of the fact that everyone wanted his team to do the missions specifically had also helped. Hell, even Minato couldn't deny that Team 11 was the most successful team since the village's founding. Naruto's team had obliterated most records held by even veteran Jonin, and by the way the client talks about the team, if Naruto had done the missions himself, the missions would have been done even faster. It was mind-boggling. Hell, his own daughter's team had not even done over 5 C ranks, and he himself trained his daughter to about a low Jonin level, while Kakashi had trained Sasuke to about a high Chunin level, and Sakura, the other student, to a solid Genin level. But that was only due to the girl's fangirlism that she had on Sasuke. Sigh, the next Chunin exams are coming up and Naruto has won the bet. Might as well give him the scroll he wants now, said Minato in a self-pondering tone, as he had no way to win the bet between himself and Naruto. With another sign, he called the Umbu Sparrow. Go get Genin. Naruto Uzumaki, with the command done, Sparrow had used the Shunshin to appear next to Naruto to only drop his jaw at what he saw. There the Genin. Naruto Uzumaki was walking up a waterfall with boulders tied to his wrists and legs, and from the look of it the boulders had gravity seals at a level that he couldn't quite see from. Shaking his head, he walked into the clearing that Naruto was training in, which happened to be in Training Ground 11. Sparrow called out to the training Genin, Naruto Uzumaki, the Hokage wishes to see you now. With that done, Sparrow waited for Naruto to drop the boulders and disappear with a Shunshin. Cautiously walking up to the boulders, he had tried to pick one up only to not be able to lift the thing with his full strength, and with his chakra enhancing his muscles as well. Thinking of how Guy might react if he found out someone was doing this, he quickly left back to the Hokage's office. Hokage office. Now Naruto, I have decided that since there is no way of avoiding the bet, I have decided that you can choose the scroll you want from the house. So which will you choose? Asked Minato with a raised eyebrow, honestly wanting to know what his ex-son wanted, and he was shocked at what he heard. Everything that the second Hokage had on his Hiraishin no Jutsu formula, which I know you have since I saw it when I was younger with his piece, said Naruto, crossed his arms with a cheeky grin on his face. His old man probably thought he wanted one of his jutsus, but he wanted his own original space-time technique, and he had some ideas for it already. Grimacing, Minato disappeared with a yellow flash for a few moments, and then finally returned in another yellow flash. Holding out the scroll, Minato dropped the scroll into Naruto's hands, still in shock that the kid wanted to learn space-time ninjutsu, even though it's one of the most complex arts there is. Hell, Fuinjutsu compared to space-time ninjutsu was like writing the number 1 over and over, and space-time ninjutsu was like designing a complex home with only a hammer. It was almost impossible. Just out of curiosity, what are you planning to do with that? Asked Minato, with hundreds of ideas going through his head at what the kid would do with that knowledge. Hell, he maybe might make a Hiraishin no Jutsu copy for all he knew. Oh well, I'm planning on making my own space-time technique so that it could be my ultimate trump card in a fight. Oh, and don't worry, I won't try replicate the Hiraishin no Jutsu, said Naruto while rubbing the back of his head while grinning at the Hokage. He didn't know who he had inherited that action from, but it was too natural to ignore no matter how much times he tried to. Oh okay, I guess if Konoha had another space-time ninjutsu user it would be good. Well, anyway, I need to get back to doing the paperwork, said Minato, looking back at his desk. Only to start to tear a bit. His paperwork stash had grown by 5x the original size. He was so not leaving until late in the evening. Minato, because of the paperwork, had missed Naruto's grin when he saw how desperate Hokage looked when facing his paperwork. So he decided to use this to his advantage. Hey Hokage-sama, do you want the secret to defeating the evil known as paperwork? Asked Naruto in a hushed tone, which instantly made Minato grab him by the shoulders and start to shake him. Please tell me the secret to defeating this evil known as paperwork. Screamed Minato while crying he would do anything to find out how to defeat the evil known as paperwork. Hell, he would have fought all tail beasts at the same time for a chance at finding the way to beat paperwork. Slowing his shaking, Naruto stood up and had pointed up 3 fingers. Okay, but I want 3 things. 1. I want Chunin travel rights. 2. I want 3 IOUs from you in which I can get anything I want at a later date. 3. Grinning evilly, Naruto said what his last of his requests. 3. Throw apple pie at your wife and daughter in the middle of the street with me recording it, along with me putting a seal on you that will erase the secret I tell you if you try to tell others. This also counts writing, motioning, and well, practically anything revolving the secret. With his request done, he saw Minato pale at the last request. Was it truly worth it to throw apple pie at Kushina and Mito's face and get a seal on him that will erase the information of the secret if he told anyone? Looking at his desk one more time, he knew the answer. Yes, Naruto-sama. Tell me the secret. All 3 of your requests are done and agreed to. Please tell me, said Minato with as much emotion as he possible could. He doesn't care about the pie. Looking at his desk, or what used to be his desk, he could only see mountains of paperwork growing before his eyes. It was too much for him. Grabbing 3 Hokage IOUs and his pen, he had started writing up Naruto's traveling rights and IOUs. After that was done, Naruto placed the seal on his wrists and told the Hokage about the seal, reacting if anyone tried to take it off him that wasn't him, it would erase the knowledge anyway. Naruto, grinning, placed his hands around the Hokage's eye and whispered 2 words. Kage. Bunshin. Also, I expect the pie in the face at 3 p.m. After that, Naruto dashed to his study, leaving a silent Minato. Slowly, Minato told everyone of his Umbu to leave him. With a nod, all the Umbu left. Making sure he was alone, Minato summoned 4 Kage. Bunshin, you know what to do, said Minato in an even tone. As soon as his clones started working, he left with a shunshin and appeared in a pastry shop buying 2 apple pies. He had told another pair of Kage Bunshins to get his wife and daughter. He could see Naruto a few meters away from him with a camera out ready for the scene waiting to be shown. Kushina and Mito had arrived and only managed to say 2 words before getting apple pie to the face. Everyone was quiet except Naruto, who was crying on the floor laughing while still holding his camera on the scene of what was happening in front of him. A few seconds later, Minato yelled out before running away, blame Naruto with his bets. With that, he flashed away only to miss Naruto's pale face. while the two redhead women had slowly gotten up and stared at him. At this he knew he was screwed if he didn't leave now, so with a two-finger salute, "Sorry I got to dash, but the pranking king from hell has much more work to do with that." He disappeared back to his house only to find it empty again. It was weird. Sasuke and Toki would only be around or in the house for at max, not including sleep, but then again they don't even sleep here sometimes, for about 3 hours before doing their team training and then leaving to wherever they went. It was weird for Naruto, especially since he was dating them both, but it must be a girl thing. Either way, he enjoyed his time with them. Now all that there was left to do was get ready for the Chunin exams, what were coming up soon. Sleeping in his study, which he had transformed into a new room due to Sasuke and Toki not wanting Naruto to sleep with them in the main room, which he understood because I would be quite weird if he did that without their permission. So with a sigh he started reading Lord Second's information about spacetime ninjutsu. After all, he needed it for his next project named Time Devil. "So we all know why we are here, right?" asked Minato as he stared at the Jonin in front of him. It was finally the time of the Chunin exams once again, and he was feeling kind of tense for some strange reason. The only other time he could describe this feeling was when he defeated Iwa with his Hiraishin Jutsu during the Third Great Ninja War. Looking up, he finally decided to get the meeting started. "Does anyone recommend their teams to participate in the Chunin exams?" asked Minato, looking from left to right. He had an idea of who would most likely sign their teams up, but he still had to know. Finally someone spoke up. Hatake Kakashi nominate Team 7 for the Chunin exams. After this was said, the sensei of Team 8, Team 9 and Team 10 also had requested their teams to participate. After a bit of waiting, another voice spoke up from the back. "2 would like to nominate my team to participate in the Chunin exams." After hearing that, everyone looked back, only seeing the face of Naruto Uzumaki, the most successful genin team leader to ever be recorded since the starting of Konoha as a whole. It was amazing. "Wait, Hokage-sama, I don't think that the teams are ready to participate," said Irika, who had been helping with the paperwork that day. Even though he had been working for the past few hours, he had noticed that the usual mountain of paperwork that would normally be there every day be reduced to about 100 sheets at any given time. Maybe he figured out a way to beat paperwork? Going off topic, Irika made his claim. "I had taught those students since the academy, and while they have good Jonin senseis, I would only recommend either Guy's group or even Naruto's group. And the only reason for Naruto's group is because they have made mission in nearly every rank completed with top marks from the clients," said Irika, waiting to see if the Hokage would listen to him and his well-thought-out explanation on the matter. "Normally I would agree, but this year 3 teams are filled with clan heirs, and both Guy's team and Naruto's team are already fully prepared to take on the Chunin exams." With that said, he had instructed everyone to leave the room. Once everyone filled out, he summoned a carrier hawk and attached Team Naruto's Chunin exam application forms to the hawk's leg. Giving a signal, the hawk flew off to his targeted destination. "Let's tweak this a bit. Add a compactor seal here." "Aowan done. Finally, now all it needs is my blood and chakra," mumbled Naruto, as he had finished possibly making the most complex seal since his father's Hiraishin. It may have taken countless weeks with barely any sleep being in between making the bloody seal, but now he can always look back at this day to his greatest achievement at the age of 13. Standing up, he started walking out to the back and simply sat in a meditation position that the dragons had taught him. Even though he knew both positions for how the dragons and phoenixes trained their sages, or would have trained their sages since he was the only one who got the chance, he found that it didn't really affect him in gathering nature chakra, other than when in the dragon position the nature chakra was a lot denser, which had the effect of it lasting longer and boosting his strength much more than his speed, but also gave him unbreakable skin. But because of that, it also took a longer time to gather the nature chakra to go into dragon sage mode. The Phoenix one, however, made gathering nature chakra really fast while also boosting his speed and also giving him a higher regenerative ability. And if he gets good enough using Phoenix Sage mode, he could rebirth himself if he truly died while in the Phoenix Sage mode. The downside to this is that the Sage mode of the Phoenixes makes the nature chakra run out faster, so it would only be effective in defeating either an enemy as fast as possible, or if it was to finish a fight as fast as possible. So while both Sage modes do come in handy, it was really hard to use during mid-battle because of the required time limit of either gathering or running out of energy. With a sigh, Naruto slowly drifted into his Mindscape, which he had not been in for the past few days. Naruto's Mindscape. Waking up in his Mindscape, Naruto started walking forward towards the seal that would be a few minutes away. Taking time to view his mindscape, he saw all the lush forest trees growing with a beautiful nice shade of green on each and every leaf on every tree. He truly loved nature. After being accustomed to his Mokutan and Senjutsu training, he honestly spent as much time as he could growing trees around him and sleeping against them. He honestly also doesn't mind when he wakes up to having forest animals all cuddled up against him. Hell, he enjoyed it, and because of this he was able to walk in the forest and pet any animal he would see, and they would enjoy his touch and not feel threatened at all. It was a good feeling to have. Seeing a big 5-story building in the distance, Naruto sped up his walking speed to a slow jog. Well, if you would count high Jonin level speed as a slow jog. Coming to a stop at the front of the house, he could hear a large amount of animals moving around with a feminine voice talking. Maybe Kurama made a female fox for himself. Shrugging, he opened the door and just stared blankly at the sight in front of him. Animals ranging from tiger cubs to platypuses, all standing on their hind legs doing stretches. But what made him go into shock was seeing Kurama in a tiny fox form with pink sweatbands on. After that image was forcefully implanted into his head, Naruto did what most would do to a situation like this. He laughed. He couldn't believe it was a class of animals doing yoga with Kurama wearing a pink jumpsuit while instructing the class. He couldn't help himself even when everyone stopped and looked at him, and then continued with their class. For Naruto, he couldn't help what he did after that. After seeing them continue their yoga completely ignoring him, he stood up and walked over to Kurama and sat next to the fox, which for some reason gave him a shiver, but it shouldn't be too bad for him, he hoped. After another half an hour or so, the class ended with a game of musical chairs for the young animals, which Naruto would never admit he joined and got beaten in by a turtle that was closer to the chair than he was. It sucked. A speed demon got beat by a babe turtle. That hurt his pride more than anything. After everyone left the house, he got a paw to the head. When Kurama in fox form, its whole body is a fox, just to clear that up. Courtesy of Kurama. After everyone left, turning toward Kurama, he was trying his best not to laugh at Kurama while he was wearing pink sweatbands and a pink jumpsuit. It looked ridiculous on him. It was too hilarious, and he couldn't help himself cracking up over it. Until he heard a girl's voice somewhere. That's not very nice, meatbag. You should bow before me and ask for me to forgive you on interfering on my yoga class. Locking down, he saw Kurama on his back legs staring up at him, waiting for an answer, at which Naruto asked the first thing that had come to mind. It's okay, Kurama, if you're into your own sex it's fine. I don't mind what you do with other male animals in here, but I want no part of it, okay? After finishing that sentence, he got a rapid paw to the nuts, which had brought him down like a sack of potatoes. With a pained voice, Naruto asked for an answer of why Kurama had done that to him, which had got him with Kurama sitting on his back. You know, when a woman tells you something you should listen, stated Kurama with a bored tone, but you could easily see a massive grin on the fox's face. The reason for that was Naruto's deer in a headlight face. He was stunned stupid. Kurama, his partner for the past few years, was female. How in the blue hell was he supposed to know Kurama? Seriously, since when were you a female? Asked Naruto in a flat tone, but anyone could tell he was still shocked stupid from the revelation. Since I was born, said Kurama with an even tone while now laying on Naruto's back with both paws on his head ready to strike at him at a moment's notice. But then why do you have Kurama as a name? I mean, that sounds like a dude name, said Naruto in a curious tone. Now seriously, this was weird, but he wanted to know, damn it. Well, the sage didn't really think that we would have gotten genders because you know masses of chakra, right? We also didn't learn how to talk until a few years after his passing, so we got our names, but while he managed to get everyone else's name right, he didn't get mine. It wasn't fair, said Kurama with her head down, on her paws now, still laying on top of Naruto as she had continued her rant. But I wouldn't have noticed you for a girl if I didn't see it myself. I mean in you big form, which I'm guessing you can transform into easily. Had such a deep voice that I instantly thought you were male, said Naruto while staring blankly to the wall ahead of him. Damn, Kurama was still laying on his back so he can't move at all. Well, if you think about it, I'm really tall, and so is I guess organs, so my vocal cords are massive, so it must come out as a very deep voice, said Kurama with paw on her chin. Well, do you want a new name though? Asked Naruto while tilting his head to the side a bit to see Kurama's face, which had a thoughtful look. After a few minutes of thinking, Kurama had accepted if it was a good name. Let's see, how about Kusami? Would that work? Asked Naruto with a raised eyebrow at the fox on his back. After a few seconds, however, the newly named Kasami jumped up and down on Naruto's spine happily. Yes, that's the most perfect name for me, said Kasumi with joy. After the whole name thing, Naruto and Kasami spent time with each other playing games like poker and just simply talking. It was the most fun he had in his life since meeting Shursui and Itachi when Itachi used to like him. Academy gates. Walking up to the academy gates, he saw his two teammates and girlfriends Satsuki and Toki. Quickly kissing them on the cheek, he slowly dragged them in towards the staircase. He instantly caught sight of a genjutsu, and quickly passed by it, ignoring the ongoing drama there. Because he was still dragging both of his teammates, he had missed both Satsuki and Toki blushing when he went past the drama. Getting up to the second floor, he quickly found a random Chunin who had to take their forms of entry for them, due to not having a Jounin sensei. After getting it all set up and ready, Naruto stared at the door with contempt, and with a grin he did a forward kick that sent the door flying through the room and out the window. Everyone was dead silent when he had walked in. I mean, who wouldn't? That was the most badass entrance anyone here probably had heard. Enjoying the faces of the other genin, he was about to sit down when he had heard the voice of a banshee. "I know, pig, get off Sasuke Kaguya!" screamed the pink-haired howler monkey, and the blonde-haired chick had latched onto Sasuke's back while walking into the class. Deciding not to get involved, he sat down and rested his head on his arms. Because of this, he had not seen Toki and Satsuki move closer to their group, although he had heard a person by the name of Kabuto talking about information cards that he had collected through his many times in the Chunin exams. Deciding to listen, he heard Kabuto talk about a redhead Sunanin by the name of Gara and information about him. He was curious of what his card would have said, so he listened to what was on the card. Naruto Uzumaki, ex-son of the 4th Hokage and ex-brother to Konoha's princess Mito Uzumaki Namikaze. His current levels are. After waiting for about a minute, Sasuke had to ask again, only for Kabuto to look directly at him and start paling. It was kind of hilarious if he thought about it, and with that he had fallen asleep. Time skip preliminary. Sorry, but I couldn't be bothered with Forest of Death or first part. But it's basically the same as canon, just that Naruto doesn't inspire everyone Mito did, and Naruto's group doesn't meet with Orochimaru or the other rookies at all, and they are 3 days early. Cough cough cough. Okay, I welcome you genin who had made it to the third part of the test. However, because there are too much people, we will have to have a preliminary to decide who goes to the finals at this Hate, the Protector. For the third Chunin exams, clicked a remote that had made a large flat screen descend from the roof and randomly scroll through names. In Naruto's opinion, the fights were quite boring, seeing as how they had ended all too fast for his tastes. However, to be fair, some matches were good, like Toki's versus a Kumo chick by the name of Kurai, but due to still being a fresh genin, even though they had done the most missions in a few months, she couldn't beat a more experienced genin. Satsuki was the same, as she had fought Samui, their team captain, and only lost due to her overcompetence, and now she was suffering from electricity burns in the med bay. Looking up at the screen, he couldn't help but smile at what he saw. Naruto Uzumaki versus Kiba Inuzuka. Finally he got to fight. He was ready to go and show these people how badass he was, until he heard Kiba talk, "Haha, we got this Akamaru, we got the dead last. Who cares about his mission ranks? He probably begged others to say he did those missions," said Kiba, with others nodding to what he had said. No one really saw Naruto fight, so it must have been bribes that gave him that mission ranks. Seeing that people agreed that Kiba pissed Naruto right off, he wasn't going to kick his ass now, no. He was going to demolish him. Using a fire shunshin, he appeared on the floor waiting for Kiba to hurry up, which he seemed to take forever. However, he had seen that Toki was laughing, so he might as well let Kiba take more time in making himself look like a clown. Finally making his way down, Kiba started with his taunting, "Dead last? How about you give up now and I won't make you look even more of a loser," said Kiba while trying to show off his non-existent muscles to the group. "Can you hurry up here? I'm getting bored over here," said Naruto, making a deliberate yawn, which had gotten the attention from everyone including the other genin. But Toki's face was weird to him. It looked like she was annoyed he had interrupted Kiba's gloating, or she was annoyed he had made him stop making himself look like an ass. Cough. Okay, the match between Naruto Uzumaki and Kiba Inuzuka is now beginning. With that, Hate jumped back, signaling the fight beginning. Naruto, still bored, appeared behind Kiba and kicked him with a corkscrew kick to the ribs, which left a loud cracking sound going through the area. "H," screamed Kiba as he held the left side of his ribs, which were probably broken by now. staring blankly at the fact he just beat Kiba with a simple kick at like only 10% of his sealed state. It kinda worried him. I mean seriously, he beat someone in one kick. Like what the actual hell, that's not natural. Hate, I don't think he can continue, said Naruto, scratching the back of his head as he watched Kiba squirm from the pain he was feeling. Finally getting back from the shock, Hate had called the match winner Naruto Uzumaki. With that, the medics had come in, including Tsunade, as she wanted to see the damage the kid had been dealt with. Doing a quick medical scan, it shown that he had broken all his ribs on the left side, and the amazing thing was nearly every bone near the ribs had also been fractured to a point that they could break at the slightest touch. Carrying the boy to the med bay, Tsunade looked back at the shocked look Naruto had on his face. That instantly proved he didn't do that on purpose, but to have that much strength. It was amazing. While nowhere near her, it was a lot of strength. Maybe even more than Guy's strength without his weights. Okay, final match, Mito Namikaze vs Omoi. Waiting for the two to appear, he had started the match. This will be way too easy. Sorry, but you're finished with that. Mito ran at Omoi at Chunin level speeds and aimed for a haymaker straight to the head, which Omoi countered by striking his left knee, which had made Mito's haymaker miss its mark by a large amount. Throwing his knee up, Omoi kneed Mito straight in the jaw, then followed up with a sweep kick that had tripped Mito. Grabbing his sword, he pointed the tip at her neck. Sorry, but you have to surrender, and if you don't, I will have to land the killing blow, which would make the 4th Hokage kill me, and then the Raikage will fight the 4th Hokage, and then there will be the 4th Shinobi War, and then everyone will kill each other until we are all dead, and then the Raikage in his dying breath will send me to hell, and I don't want to go there, so please surrender, asked Omoi, which had made everyone who was listening in to his random ramblings, which had Samui and Kurai, blush a bit at his behavior, while still pointing his sword at Mito's neck, only to hear a shout of Rasengan, and to feel an spiraling pain in his back before feeling his body getting destroyed from the inside. With a final push, Omoi flew off and smashed head first into the wall. Hate, quickly calling medics, and had grabbed the destroyed Omoi and pried his body out of the now man-sized hole in the wall. After that match, every winner had been gathered up in the middle, ready for the name calls going up. First, Naruto pulled out 1. Next up was Hinata Hyuga, who funny enough got 2. He remembered her match quite well. It was against her cousin, who had a massive stick up his ass. But compared to Hinata, it was a tiny twig. Sure, he kept talking about fate until Hinata told him to shut up, and then activated his curse seal and watched as he pleaded for her to stop. It was sickening to watch, which is why he had challenged Hinata on behalf of the Hyuga's branch members. Now he gets the chance to do it. Stipulations for his win? A free chance at taking a try at taking their seal off. He loses, he is to be the main branch's personal slave and also be branded with their seal. Well, princess, good luck, said Naruto as he had left before the other matches were called. If he had stayed, he might have seen Satsuki and Toki come out of the med bays with their clothes ruffled a bit. Time skip week 1. So Kasami was Satsuki and Toki busy with woman's stuff, and Shursui still on Umbu missions, and I am on a business trip with old man Ichiraku. We got the entire time to train. So what do you think we should do? Asked Naruto while watching the clouds slowly float across the sky. To be completely honest, he had been already strong enough to beat every Kaguya with his restrictions on, but he still liked to train. After all, he still needed to keep sharp, and he could only get better. I mean, even he doesn't know what his full strength is. But he doubts he will see it unless he does it for no reason but to just see. But it was a waste if he did, so he decided against it. Naruto-kun and I have no real idea, said Kasami, as she lazily laid in her home on the couches, still reading one of the books Naruto had absorbed. When he had absorbed a soldier who had managed to get a lucky shot on him when he was just starting up. The book was called 50 Shades of Grey. Don't read if underage, seriously. Now Naruto didn't know what the book was about, seeing as he had discarded that memory over countless useful memories, and seeing as he can't be bothered to read it, he just lets Kasami read them when bored. Although he did notice that Kasami had enjoyed the book a lot, and because of that she constantly read the thing over and over. Suddenly a thought struck him. The Kuchiyos, Edo Tensei. Since he had the blood of Hashirama and Madara in him, he could summon them to train with him. Okay, now what to use for the sacrifices part? As Naruto sat down, he had saw some of his clones of his training in Mokuton training and chakra control. He didn't know why, but because of his control, it was a massive habit of him to create clones to continue with chakra control. Next to the group were the medical group, which were just healing any animal that had been injured near his house. looking at an injured rabbit which was bleeding then at his clones. A light bulb had appeared above his head, cutting his skin and draining some blood onto the floor. He had made 2 blood clones standing tall. After that he once again drained some more blood which he had Kasami mostly make it match Hashirama's and Madara's blood types. He quickly made the hand signs for the Edo Tensei, and soon a large cloud of smoke had appeared. Within the smoke 2 men had appeared, both looking completely different, apart from the same black-colored hair. Both men stood strong. The one on the left had long flat hair that had reached his shoulders with his covered forehead exposed. He had a strong-shaped jaw with black eyes. He also wore some old Warring Clan-era armor with a black long-sleeved shirt with similar black pants to match. He also had bandages wrapped around his ankles with thin shinobi sandals on. The other man had nearly identical clothing on, except on the armor there was the Uchiha clan logo showing. The man had pitch black hair that was spiking in all directions, and it had also reached the lower part of his back. He stood there with his arms crossed and a blank face staring straight ahead of him, although you could see his slight twitch of his eye as if he wasn't planning for this to happen. Wonder why? Deciding to start off, Naruto quickly jumped in front of both of them, only to sweat drop as both of them instantly saw the other, and jumped to the opposite side of the clearing ready to face off. Until Naruto interrupted him. "Hi Hashirama, Madara, you guys there?" asked Naruto, tilting his head, which made both ancient shinobi look at him. Can you both please say something? I was kinda looking to talk to you both about something," asked Naruto while scratching the back of his head. Hashirama, deciding to find out how he was alive, asked him not to be rude or anything, but how am I alive along with Madara theme, asked Hashirama with a tilt of his head, ignoring Madara's eye twitch that had been more noticeable. "Oh, that's easy. I used the Edo Tensei to summon you both," said Naruto like he was talking to an old man who had lost the plot. At this Hashirama had got pissed and upset. This child had sacrificed 2 people to summon him and Madara. This isn't right. Who did you sacrifice for us to be here?" said Hashirama in an ominous tone as he slowly clenched his fists ready to kill this kid who no doubt did this for the most horrendous reason ever. Even Madara was kinda shocked at this. A random 13-year-old summoned both him and Hashirama, so that meant that he had to grave rob both him and Hashirama, and then sacrifice 2 people to see him and Hashirama. It was different. Oh, you mean the required sacrifice? I simply used some blood clones instead of actual people. Then I had used my blood and focused more into your blood and Madara's, which is being produced through me, said Naruto, now understanding why Hashirama was getting more angry at him. "What?" screamed both Hashirama and Madara. This kid had figured out how to use the Edo Tensei without harming someone else, and then said had both of their blood flowing through him? What the hell had happened while they were dead? "Yeah, it's no big deal actually. I was wondering if you both could help my training in Mokutan and the Sharingan, which I had advanced into the Mangekyo. And no, I didn't kill my best friend for it. I had simply found a better way to do it. So what do you say?" asked Naruto, staring at them both with a grin. Honestly, it was cool having 2 living legends in front of him, even if he can kick their asses. Sure, I guess, but quick question. How did you get both mine and Hashirama Baka's blood?" asked Madara with a tilt of his head, which still had his straight face while looking at the child in front of him. Well, that's a long story, so I'll tell you while we go to my private training grounds." With that, Naruto with Madara and Hashirama following left through the trees, never to be seen for another 31 days. "Ha ha ha, seems to me that I win that one," said Naruto, sitting on his ass as he had used his massive amount of chakra in 30 days of non-stop training. Whether it was for medical and Mokutan jutsu and control with Hashirama or Gumbai and Sharingan training with Madara, it was the most training he had ever done in his life. It also got him a chance to know the 2 Konoha founders on a somewhat personal level. Hashirama was both a child and a wise man combined into 2. He would act like a wise sage for a little bit, then completely turn into a kid. He also learned that he had sucked at gambling and that he had taught Tsunade how to gamble. Must be why she sucks at it. It reminded him of someone, but he didn't know who. Madara was the opposite, where he was like most Uchiha, until either him or Hashirama annoyed him enough, then his personality does a full 180 degrees like Hashirama, and he turns into a pissed-off little kid. It was the best thing he could honestly see. Hell, Kasami had been laughing every time he had turned Madara into a brooding kid. However, when he and Hashirama had done this the first time, Hashirama had instantly thought that someone had switched places with the reincarnated Madara, which after a few embarrassing secrets about himself proved to be the actual Madara. Who knew he used to sleep with a teddy bear until he was 15? He had got to know their lives pretty well during the time that he had spent with them. But he actually preferred Madara than Hashirama. But not by a lot, just a bit. He had liked to hear Madara talk about his family and how his battles with other clans had ended up. It was cool listening to Madara talk, because he had high details of the fights. It also helped that he could use a genjutsu to make his memories viewable, so he had highly detailed fights. When Hashirama cried because he couldn't do that, it would have been funny watching him try to boast about his supposed skills during his battles. But one thing was certain when training for the Chunin finals. Both Madara and Hashirama wanted to see how strong were the current generation, thinking that they should be a lot stronger than when they were kids and by the way Naruto was. At that, Naruto knew they would be disappointed, but let them see what the world shinobi current strength was nowadays. Naruto decided that since he had one more day before the matches, decided to go buy a book to read while he had relaxed in his personal onsen, which he had noticed was not used at all since the Chunin exams. But it wasn't like it was the end of the world. Walking into the book stand, he had immediately started to browse through all the books. After a good 10 minutes of searching, he had decided to give up. Walking to the front, he had looked behind the clerk and saw a book called The Tales of a Gutsy Ninja, and for some reason, that book had called out to him. Walking around the counter and picking the book up, he skimmed the blog at the back and felt a smile warm onto his face. Apparently it told a story about a person named Naruto fighting to bring world peace. While this book had some magic power to know what he would do before he could do it. Buying the book was easy, as the clerk said it was impossible to be sold. So he sold the book to Naruto at the original price, and not 3 times the actual amount. Walking out of the bookstore and walking in a random direction, Naruto accidentally bumped into someone looking up. He was shocked to see who he had walked into. There stood Jiraiya the Sennin just staring at Naruto with an unblinking face. It was kind of weird. They stood there for a good minute until Jiraiya started talking. "Hey kid, why are you reading that book?" asked Jiraiya, pointing to the worst-selling book of all time which he himself had wrote a few years ago, with them only to be bought and used for starting fires. Hell, his own student didn't like the book much, it was too unrealistic. Well, I guess I like it. I guess the main plot about the character trying to break this cycle of hatred really drew me in. I guess that it's because that's my dream to get rid of this world's cycle of hatred," said Naruto, staring at the book in his hands while missing the shock on Jiraiya's face instantly after he said his dream was to end the cycle of hatred. He decided he wanted to try something. "Kid, why waste your time on a goal that will never be completed?" said Jiraiya in a somewhat serious tone that had pissed Naruto off. "I really don't care what you got to say, old man. If there is such a thing as peace, I will find it," said Naruto with literal bright flames hidden beneath his eyes, showing his unstoppable will and determination. Jiraiya was shocked. He had tried to get Mito to believe in world peace, but she doesn't want her life to be wasted on something like that. That had hurt when he had gotten that reply, which had actually caused him to take a walk around the village, which had led him up to a point where he had met his godson or ex-godson who had the same dream as he had himself. Wanting to know the kid better, Jiraiya decided on what to do. "Hey kid, do you want a spar?" asked Jiraiya with a grin on his face, waiting for Naruto to accept, which he did. He grabbed Naruto's shoulder and teleported him to Training Ground 7. "Okay, no kill shots. Everything else available ready, old man," said Naruto, getting into a basic boxer stance with his left arm out and his right arm a bit in front of his chest, his legs on an angle and slightly bent, ready to use his speed to destroy the old man. Jiraiya, on the other hand, had simply moved into the Toad stance, which he had gotten taught when he had started to learn Toad's version of Senjutsu. With a silent nod, both figures started to run at mid-jonin speed, both aiming for a punch. Fist met fist, and there was a slight clap as both fists fought for dominance over the other. Naruto, seeing an opening, grabbed the fist with the same hand he was clashing with, which had shocked Jiraiya as he hadn't ever seen someone try that. Pulling backwards, Naruto threw his elbow at the Sennin's head, which had hit his mark and had the added effect of his rattling Jiraiya's head. Wrapping his arm around Jiraiya's head, Naruto brought a hard knee to the gut, which had forced Jiraiya to spit out a lot of spit. Seeing as Jiraiya was getting over the elbow to the head, Naruto used his left hand to also grab Jiraiya's hand/forearm, and with a quick spin and flick he was sent flying, straight through multiple trees. Looking toward the forest, he had sensed that a bit of chakra was held over a certain area, doing a back flip that would make Jiraiya's haymaker miss. He went through 2 hand signs and with a shout shot out the first jutsu that Madara had taught him, Katan. Great fireball jutsu. With that he had shot a massive fireball straight at Jiraiya, who at this moment was cursing. With no other choice he had used the well-known earth jutsu Doton, earth wall. Throwing his arm to the floor and summoning a massive wall of earth, he was shocked at the strength that the fireball had done. It was still going after 30 seconds and it was getting bigger. It was kind of scaring the crap out of him right then. "Old man, do you surrender and believe that there is a way for peace?" said Naruto, still holding the tiger hand sign as he watched the fireball slowly grow in size. The only reason why it hadn't been extinguished was because he was using wind chakra in a constant flow to strengthen it. "Fine, I give now. Stop that damn fireball, brat," said Jiraiya as he was comically crying over the fact that he was beat by a kid. But then again he had heard how this kid was the best of the best when people had wanted him specifically to do their missions. "Well, that was fun, old man Jiraiya, but I gotta go get something to eat. Unless you want to come with me," said Naruto, looking at Jiraiya while also turning his body so that he could start walking. Deciding what the hell, Jiraiya went along with Naruto. He started to paw when he had saw Ichiraku and was holding his wallet tightly. "Don't worry, old man Jiraiya, I'm paying." "I did ask you," said Naruto with a grin, looking at Jiraiya, who had a look of shock on his face. Not once had anyone offered to pay for him, not his friends, Tsunade, and even his own pupil's family. It was always "You're paying, Jiraiya, or can you hold a tab for use, Jiraiya?" I mean, really. He was close to all of them, but not once did they pay for him. Getting out of his shock, he gave the kid a grin, and also a sigh as he was thankful for not paying for ramen. Again, walking through the flaps, Naruto was greeted with the sight of Hinata and Mito sitting there. Shrugging, he took a seat and greeted Iam, who had come back early for some reason. "Hey Iam, could you get me 3 bowls of chicken ramen, and whatever the old man wants," said Naruto while looking at her with a grin when he had heard Jiraiya grumble about being called old. That was before Mito noticed Jiraiya and immediately started talking. "Jiraiya-sensei, can you please pay for our ramen?" said Mito, looking at him unexpectedly while holding her hand out, thinking that he would. Jiraiya with a sign almost had held her the cash she would need for ramen, which would be 4 D ranks worth. Just as he was about to hand the money over, Naruto ripped it out of his hand, which shocked everyone there. "You know, old man, I said I was paying, so I didn't want you to pay for anything," said Naruto while folding his arms, which Mito finally noticed who he was. "You, give me that ramen, bastard," said Mito with a scream which could be heard from the outside of the stand. Tilting his head a little, he was going to say something until Hinata had decided to interrupt. "You should comply, done, or I will juken you to oblivion in the finals," said Hinata with her eyes glaring at him, which he plainly ignored, which pissed and shocked Hinata off. "Don't you have your own money, Mito? Why are you asking for Jiraiya?" asked Naruto with the tilt of his head still in place. "Why? Because I said so. Even my father said I could always ask him for money, and it wouldn't even make a dent in his wallet," said Mito with her hair splitting into 9 tails like things which were swaying left and right. "It was kinda cool, to be honest. Sigh, whatever, but since I'm paying for Jiraiya, I'll give you what you were getting." Pulling out about 4 D rank mission amounts, Naruto handed it to Mito, who was shocked someone was paying for Jiraiya but couldn't say anything after he decided to sit down and start eating with Jiraiya, who was snickering at the drama Naruto caused. "Hey! I want more than this. I have to pay for Hinata's," said Mito while walking up to Naruto, trying to take his wallet, which he had slapped Mito's hand away each and every time until it got too annoying. "About a bet, Mito, instead of me and Hinata fighting, I will fight you." "Hinata, and who else wants to fight me on a handicap match?" Mito instantly agreed, since she could destroy him and get something out of it. "If you win, I will pay for you ramen every day for a year. But if I win, you can't ask Jiraiya for money unless he offers it to you." Deal. Sticking his hand out, Mito instantly grabbed it, thinking he was joking. With that done, Naruto started to walk away, only for Jiraiya to say, "Thanks, kid. It's the first time ever since I didn't have to pay, and it was nice, so thanks." With that, Jiraiya patted Naruto's shoulder while using the Shunshin to teleport away. Shrugging, he walked home. Maybe he could use his new time devil attack tomorrow. Chunin Exam Stadium Kage seats. Here we see 3 of the Kage of the elemental nation sitting in a single booth with 2 guards each. The Reikage had his younger brother B, and a guy with white hair, Darui. The Kazekage had no one special, just 2 regular special forces by the name of Dust, and finally the Hokage, who had both Tsunade and Jiraiya standing by him. It was a special day because as soon as the matches began, the world would see their potential Chunin strength, and show who was truly the strongest. Minato standing up said in a joyful tone, "The Chunin exams begin." With that, everyone started screaming for the first match to begin. Sitting back down, he nodded to Genma to call out the matches. With a slight nod, Genma started calling the first match. The first match was a handicap match that had been requested by the challenger Naruto Uzumaki. When he had said that, everyone was shocked. The brat had requested to fight against multiple people? Was he an idiot? The match will be Naruto vs Hinata Hyuga, Mito Uzumaki Namikaze, and any one of the genin who wants to participate. Please come down for the fight now. With that, Mito and Hinata had appeared in a regular Shunshin, while Sasuke had appeared in a fire Shunshin. Waiting for a bit, Gemma had called Naruto's name once more and had given him a time limit of 5 minutes. At the final count of 1, a huge thunderstorm had appeared, with unnatural red lightning with black lighting mixing into the storm. While this was going on, the Reikage was having a heart attack. Red lightning? And black lightning? What the hell is this village feeding their kids? Soon a thunderbolt hit the center of the arena, showing off Naruto Uzumaki, still looking the same as always, with his signature jacket on. Walking up to the center of the ring, Naruto called out in a joyful tone, "So are we going to start, or what?" asked Naruto with a grin which had made everyone crack a small smile at his relaxed tone. Coughing to get the attention back, Genma decided to begin the match. "Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the first ever Chunin exams handicap. Begin." With that, Genma jumped back, starting the match. Seeing this, Mito rushed at Naruto at mid-Chunin speeds while aiming for a high leg kick, which Naruto had ducked, only to dash to the right, avoiding Hinata's palm strike that would have destroyed his lung. If the positioning was something to base off of, doing a backflip and landing a few meters away from the center of the exam arena, only to do a helicopter spin kick, when Mito had tried to jump him. Stopping from his spin, he had flipped back into a standing position. Tilting his head a little, he had saw Hinata's fingers fly past him, throwing his arms up and grabbing her forearm and then spinning until Hinata's arm was behind her back. Creating a biokunai, he held the blade to her neck. "Surrender now and Hinata will not be injured." Hinata, while scared, knew Mito would help her within a few seconds, so she waited. And waited and once again waited. Mito, on the other hand, had charged up a Rasengan ready to pounce on Naruto while he was holding Hinata. She was sure her friend could dodge and get away from the dead last. So with a war cry she dashed forward, only seeing Naruto's shocked face, along with Hinata's. Stadium. "Hinata! Quick, dodge it!" shouted Hayashi while clutching his youngest daughter's hand. "Hanabi! Nei-chan! Move away!" screamed Hanabi, watching Mito speeding towards Hinata and Naruto with a Rasengan. Naruto was shocked. Really, she had ignored her friend's position and was heading straight for them. And he had no time to throw Hinata away without making her smash through the entire stadium. Seeing no other choice, Naruto disposed of his biokunai and turned Hinata around and put his back in Mito's position, while holding Hinata close to his chest, which had the effect of Hinata blushing. Not that he could have seen. Mito, thinking that Hinata had switched positions with Naruto, added Kyuubi's chakra into her Rasengan, making it glow from a light blue into a deep red spiraling sphere. Thrusting her hand out, and she hit her mark. Flying through the air with a chunk of his back gone, Naruto twisted his body to make sure Hinata didn't go through the wall, hitting the wall with full force. Naruto's body had made a man-sized hole with dust flying everywhere. Mito, waiting for a few seconds for the dust to clear, was shocked at what she saw. There Naruto was holding Hinata to his chest, while having one of his arms ripped off, his spine sticking out of his body and one of his eye popped out of his head. But through all of that, Hinata was fine, while looking a bit green at Naruto's current state and a bit of pink on her green face at the fact she was still being held by Naruto, even after the damage Mito had given. But she wasn't the only one shocked. Everyone in the stadium had been shock silent as they had watched Naruto take the blow for the female Hyuga and then held on to her, as he had been sent through a wall. But what had also shocked them was that Naruto was 1. Still alive and 2. Still conscious and wasn't screaming out in pain. But when they watched how he had taken an attack that would have hit the Hyuga, which really turned a lot of heads, The demon they had all accused had defended a girl who had apparently wanted to make him into her clan's slave and personal punching bag. A demon doesn't do that, so, were they wrong? Kagebuth. The three Kage just sat there staring. How could they not? They had seen a genin take on a full-powered Buji-enhanced Rasengan, to the back, and then being shot through a wall, while also making sure that the girl he was holding was safe. Then came his current appearance, which had shocked them straight to hell. A genin took all that and had not once screamed out in pain and had not only, somehow avoided death, but he also was conscious. Just wow. Arena, Hinata. Yoyu Ooke said Naruto, wincing in pain as he needed to absorb some of his sealed biomass to heal the injuries he had currently had going on him. If not, a Phoenix Sage mode would do, and he doubted that people would like seeing him consume extra biomass. So he was going to need to go Sannin Moto to heal enough to fight. Hinata, staring at his blue eyes, slowly brought her hand up to his face, or what remained of his face, and brought it down close to hers. I'm fine. Thank you for saving me, Anne. Sorry we couldn't be friends, since I doubt even you won't make it out of this alive, said Hinata, kissing his cheek and slowly opening his arms, and slowly rolled out of the hole in a wall as to not cause him more pain that he was possibly feeling. Had she looked at his face, a smile could be seen as he moved into a meditation position to start gathering nature chakra for Phoenix Sannin Moto. Walking away from the hole in the wall with her head down, Hinata remembered what had happened a few minutes ago. Mito blindly forgot her safety and Naruto risked his safety for hers when she had been nothing but horrible to the few times she had talked to him. Looking up, he saw Mito grinning at her. That grin pissed her off straight away. Good job, Hina-chan, we won because you had captured him so I could use my Rasengan, then you used him as a shield. Good job, said Mito with a toothy smile and thumbs up. That was until she had remembered something, or rather someone. Hey, where's Sasuke? Asked Mito, as she had not seen him fight at all. Looking around, she had seen him sitting on the floor looking bored at her. Hey, why didn't you join in? It was fun kicking the dobes, as said Mito, looking down and showing a bit of her B-cup breasts due to her clothing she had currently wore, same as Tsunade except without the green jacket thing. Me trying against that dobe? That would be an insult. No one can beat an Uchiha but another Uchiha. So I wouldn't even needed to try break a sweat to beat the loser, said Sasuke while sticking his nose up with a smirk plastered on his face as he imagined how it must have been easy to beat Naruto. On the roof of Kagebuth. Well, Madara, I guess most of your clan inherited your stick-up-the-ass attitude, said Hashirama, while looking at the conversation going on between the 4th Hokage's daughter and the Uchiha kid. Shut up, Hashirama Baka. I don't have a personality with a stick shoved up my ass. Got that, tree hugger, said Madara while making the wind blow his hair out while staring at the hole Naruto currently occupied with interest. Naruto had reminded him of Izuna, one of his younger brothers, when he had become serious in certain situations. He would be a problem for Project Tsuki no Mi, but at least it would be fun to fight him later on. After all, there was no better feeling than defeating a strong opponent. Once again looking at the hole, he spoke up. Looks like Naruto's charged up and healed, said Madara with his Sharingan spinning, as he wanted to see one of Naruto's 2 sage modes in action. Ginma, who finally had gotten out of his shock after the conversation, started to call the match out due to likely death. Genin Naruto Uzumaki has lost the Ma. Boom! Everyone looked to where the explosion was, and they had shit themselves. There was Naruto Uzumaki alive and kicking, along with being entirely healed. Then also came the fact of his flying with fire consuming his entire body. Naruto's appearance also had changed a bit, as his clothes now looked like they were made of flames, as the edges of all his clothes started to flicker and move as if possessed. Then also came to the look of his face. His whisker marks had thinned more and became defined. His eyes were a deep orange color with a slit pupils and with orange pigments surrounding his eyes. Toad Sage mode pigments, with a little change. Naruto, enjoying himself, decided to call out what technique he was using out to the world. Floating down into the arena with his feet touching the ground, Naruto looked up at everyone in the stadium and called out his new form names: Naruto Uzumaki, the first ever multi-phoenix and dragon sage. When he had said that, multiple things had happened. Every civilian had wide eyes and their jaws hanging on the ground. The shinobi below Jonin were looking at Naruto, then back at the hole in the wall before passing out. The Jonin blinked and stared shocked. The Kage were having heart attacks due to the fact Naruto apparently had a summoning contract with the phoenixes and dragons. even though they didn't know if Naruto really did have the dragon contract, and had become a sage. For the Phoenixes. And the rest of the Rookie 15? Well, they were hyperventilating with Shikamaru, being the only genin who hadn't looked like he was going to pass out from shock. Mito, Hinata and Sasuke however just stepped back in shock as Naruto was standing there, perfectly fine as if he hadn't had his spine sticking out of his back and half of his body and limbs gone. However, Hinata quickly got over her shock and raced to him and hugged him, noticing that she wasn't being burned at all. How are you alive?" asked Hinata, looking up at her savior, who at this moment was scratching the back of his head and grinning slightly at Hinata. He had answered her, "Oh, that's simple. As a phoenix sage I can come back to life or heal from anything if I can go into this form fast enough. So I just took the time I was in the hole in the wall to transform into sage mode," said Naruto with a grin, looking at Hinata's face go through multiple expressions before just staring blankly at Naruto, then just nodding before she called out to Genma that she surrendered. After that she went to her father and passed out on his lap. Snickering, Naruto looked at both Mito and Sasuke and then fluctuated his chakra high enough to make both Mito and Sasuke go on their knees. "Do you both give up?" said Naruto, looking at the two of them. Seeing Mito shake her head along with Sasuke, he disappeared and appeared next to Mito and knocked her out before chucking her towards the Rookie 15 area, dropping his sage mode, which Naruto only needed to use to heal himself after the Buji Rasengan. Naruto walked across the field before speaking up against Sasuke. "Uchiha, is it true that only an Uchiha defeat another Uchiha?" asked Naruto, looking at Sasuke, who had returned his cocky smirk back onto his face. "Of course, only the elite can defeat each other. It's not possible for Uchiha to lose against other weak clan members," said Sasuke, looking towards Naruto while crossing his arms, ignoring other clans being pissed off at him for that remark about their clans. "Oh, okay, then how about I kick your ass then?" asked Naruto before appearing next to Sasuke and volley kicking Sasuke in the ribs, which had sent him flying toward the arena wall. Appearing once again, Naruto grabbed Sasuke's leg by the ankle, then chucked Sasuke across the arena while appearing at random intervals and either kicking Sasuke or throwing him around more. The Uchihas who had been watching the match winced at the damage Naruto had been giving Sasuke for the past few minutes. Catching Sasuke by the scruff of his shirt, Naruto couldn't help but let out a sigh as the new gravity seals made him even weaker to a point that his normal taijutsu attacks are only mid-jonin, and his strongest attacks are about mid to high Kage level. Looking at Sasuke, once again asking for Sasuke to submit only to get no answer. Looking down at Sasuke, he saw Sasuke pull out some pieces of paper, and could only wonder what they were. In the stands, two people started sweating. "What you got there, Sasuke?" asked Naruto, looking at Sasuke, who had looked at him with an evil grin, throwing the cards up and using the shunshin to get away. Everyone looked at the photos that Sasuke had thrown up. When Naruto saw one of the photos, he dropped to his knees. He watched as all the photos Sasuke had thrown up and landed in an almost perfect semicircle around him. Now, normally Naruto wouldn't have cared about random photos, but the photos he had seen got his entire interest. Around Naruto were pictures of both Toki and Satsuki, naked with Sasuke and Kiba. There were pictures of everything ranging from sex to dinner. Everyone watched Naruto look through all the photos and could only feel sorry for him. Whenever someone saw him, Toki and Satsuki, they always thought that Naruto would cheat on them and be horrible to them. But that was once again proven wrong after thinking on it for a bit. Every civilian could only watch on as Naruto moved his head side to side looking at each picture. Sasuke, who had taken the time to heal a bit, launched at Naruto, kicking him in the head, and then started to rain down blows on the side of Naruto's cranium as Naruto didn't respond while looking straight at the side of a wall with blank eyes. After a few minutes of wailing on Naruto, which had disgusted most of the civilians because of the fact that someone would do both the photos and physical damage to someone, Sasuke stood up and started to wrap Naruto up in wires and attach him to a wall, while also holding up the tiger seal. "Well done, it was fun defeating you. Now, as a favor for Satsuki, time for you to die." With that, Sasuke sent a large fireball/flamethrower straight at Naruto. Stadium. Reserve Genin area. Reserve Chunin area. Reserve Jonin area. Kage booth. "That is inhumane. So much for Konoha as a peace-loving village," grunted the Raikage as he couldn't believe what that Uchiha had done to the blonde with red-tipped hair kid. "That was interesting," said the Kazekage while looking at Sasuke with hidden glee. But the fourth Hokage could only look at the pictures that his ex-son had seen, and could only imagine if Kushina had done that to him, how traumatized would he be from it. Then looking at the fireball/flamethrower which Sasuke was still powering, he could only imagine his ex-son being burnt to ashes. Roof for Kage booth. Hashirama started to tear at what he had saw. It was truly saddening. Naruto had talked quite a lot of Toki, who was related to him, and Satsuki when they were relaxing or just talking. It hurt seeing his student and friend look like that. Even worse is he couldn't help him due to exposing himself in Edo Tensei form. For Madara, however, it reminded him of his own tragedy before Izuna's death. Like Naruto, he had loved the woman he had chosen to be his girlfriend with all his heart. He would have sacrificed himself for her. But like Naruto, he had been cheated on. It hurt so much he had become even more colder than he was when he was a child. But what was worse were the fact that everyone knew and no one told him. All that time with someone who was faking it hurt. He probably could have found someone who had truly loved him if he had knew later on after recovering from it. But he had only found out before he was going to ask her to marry him. It was because of that he could relate to Naruto on the subject on a personal level, even though he wouldn't admit it. Because of Naruto, he and Hashirama had become friends again, along with Naruto also joining their friendship. Although he would continue with Project Tsuki no Mi, he would gladly like to meet both Hashirama and Naruto after his endgame had finished. Guess he will see what happens then. Naruto before fireball/flamethrower hit. Naruto couldn't do anything. He just kept remembering all the photos of his girlfriends and Kiba and Sasuke screwing with each other, and then a picture of them both holding a pregnancy test with a positive mark on it. The once impossible pillar of Naruto Uzumaki broke, finally cracking under all that he has been through. Naruto cried. He had lost two of the most important people he had held within his heart. And what was worse, Toki and Satsuki had played along with it. Kasumi could only shed tears for her container. Drawing him into the seal, she had her miniature fox form wrap around his neck and nuzzle his face in an attempt to help her container with his problem. It is time, Naruto. The next thing Naruto knows, he is in a purplish room with a single man sitting midair while holding a staff with large circle rings on the end lying flat against his legs. The man had appeared to be the age of around 300 if the fact he had many wrinkles. The old man also had short spiky white hair with two horns. He also had white chin hair that went to his chest, maybe a bit longer. But what really stood out, apart from the horns, was the figure's purple eyes staring directly at him. "Welcome, Naruto Uzumaki. I am sorry you are here at a young age," said the man while looking at the boy before him. "My name is Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the sage of the six paths," said the man, now identified Hagoromo Otsutsuki, staring at Naruto. Raising his hand up, he slowly brought it on Naruto's head. "Naruto Uzumaki, will you be the one to bring true peace to the world?" asked Hagoromo as he stared into Naruto's blue eyes and brought Naruto to a new place altogether. Chunin Exam Stadium Kage seats. Here we see three of the Kage of the elemental nation sitting in a single booth with two guards each. The Reikage had his younger brother B, and a guy with white hair Darui. The Kazekage had no one special, just two regular special forces by the name of Dust, and finally the Hokage, who had both Tsunade and Jiraiya standing by him. It was a special day because as soon as the matches began, the world would see their potential Chunin strength, and show who was truly the strongest. Minato, standing up, said in a joyful tone, "The Chunin exams begin." With that, everyone started screaming for the first match to begin. Sitting back down, he nodded to Genma to call out the matches. With a slight nod, Genma started calling the first match. The first match was a handicap match that had been requested by the challenger Naruto Uzumaki. When he had said that, everyone was shocked. The brat had requested to fight against multiple people? Was he an idiot? The match will be Naruto vs Hinata Hyuga, Mito Uzumaki Namikaze, and any one of the genin who wants to participate. Please come down for the fight now. With that, Mito and Hinata had appeared in a regular Shunshin, while Sasuke had appeared in a fire Shunshin. Waiting for a bit, Gemma had called Naruto's name once more and had given him a time limit of 5 minutes. At the final count of 1, a huge thunderstorm had appeared, with unnatural red lightning with black lighting mixing into the storm. While this was going on, the Reikage was having a heart attack. Red lightning? And black lightning? What the hell is this village feeding their kids? Soon a thunderbolt hit the center of the arena, showing off Naruto Uzumaki, still looking the same as always, with his signature jacket on. Walking up to the center of the ring, Naruto called out in a joyful tone, "So are we going to start, or what?" asked Naruto with a grin which had made everyone crack a small smile at his relaxed tone. Coughing to get the attention back, Genma decided to begin the match. "Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the first ever Chunin exams handicap. Begin with that." Genma jumped back, starting the match. Seeing this, Mito rushed at Naruto at mid-Chunin speeds while aiming for a high leg kick, which Naruto had ducked, only to dash to the right, avoiding Hinata's palm strike that would have destroyed his lung. If the positioning was something to base off of, doing a backflip and landing a few meters away from the center of the exam arena, only to do a helicopter spin kick, when Mito had tried to jump him. Stopping from his spin, he had flipped back into a standing position. Tilting his head a little, he had saw Hinata's fingers fly past him, throwing his arms up and grabbing her forearm and then spinning until Hinata's arm was behind her back. Creating a byokunai, he held the blade to her neck. "Surrender now and Hinata will not be injured." Hinata, while scared, knew Mito would help her within a few seconds, so she waited. And waited and once again waited. Mito, on the other hand, had charged up a Rasengan ready to pounce on Naruto. While he was holding Hinata, she was sure her friend could dodge and get away from the dead last. So with a war cry she dashed forward, only seeing Naruto's shocked face, along with Hinata's. Stadium. "Hinata! Quick, dodge it!" shouted Hayashi while clutching his youngest daughter's hand. "Hanabi! Nei-chan! Move away!" screamed Hanabi, watching Mito speeding towards Hinata and Naruto with a Rasengan. Naruto was shocked. Really, she had ignored her friend's position and was heading straight for them, and he had no time to throw Hinata away without making her smash through the entire stadium. Seeing no other choice, Naruto disposed of his byokunai and turned Hinata around and put his back in Mito's position, while holding Hinata close to his chest, which had the effect of Hinata blushing. Not that he could have seen. Mito, thinking that Hinata had switched positions with Naruto, added Kyuubi's chakra into her Rasengan, making it glow from a light blue into a deep red spiraling sphere. Thrusting her hand out, and she hit her mark. Flying through the air with a chunk of his back gone, Naruto twisted his body to make sure Hinata didn't go through the wall, hitting the wall with full force. Naruto's body had made a man-sized hole with dust flying everywhere. Mito, waiting for a few seconds for the dust to clear, was shocked at what she saw. There Naruto was holding Hinata to his chest, while having one of his arms ripped off, his spine sticking out of his body and one of his eyes popped out of his head. But through all of that, Hinata was fine. While looking a bit green at Naruto's current state and a bit of pink on her green face at the fact she was still being held by Naruto, even after the damage Mito had given. But she wasn't the only one shocked. Everyone in the stadium had been shocked silent as they had watched Naruto take the blow for the female Hyuga and then held on to her, as he had been sent through a wall. But what had also shocked them was that Naruto was 1. Still alive and 2. Still conscious and wasn't screaming out in pain. But when they watched how he had taken an attack that would have hit the Hyuga, which really turned a lot of heads. The demon they had all accused had defended a girl who had apparently wanted to make him into her clan's slave and personal punching bag. A demon doesn't do that. So, were they wrong? Kage. The 3 Kage just sat there staring. How could they not? They had seen a genin take on a full-powered Buji-enhanced Rasengan, to the back, and then being shot through a wall, while also making sure that the girl he was holding was safe. Then came his current appearance, which had shocked them straight to hell. A genin took all that and had not once screamed out in pain and had not only somehow avoided death, but he also was conscious. Just wow. Arena, Hinata. Yo-yu okay, said Naruto, wincing in pain as he needed to absorb some of his sealed biomass to heal the injuries he had currently had going on him. If not, a Phoenix Sage mode would do, and he doubted that people would like seeing him consume extra biomass. So he was going to need to go Sannin Moto to heal enough to fight. Hinata, staring at his blue eyes, slowly brought her hand up to his face, or what remained of his face, and brought it down close to hers. I'm fine. Thank you for saving me, and sorry we couldn't be friends, since I doubt even you won't make it out of this alive, said Hinata, kissing his cheek and slowly opening his arms, and slowly rolled out of the hole in a wall as to not cause him more pain that he was possibly feeling. Had she looked at his face, a smile could be seen as he moved into a meditation position to start gathering nature chakra for Phoenix Sannin Moto. Walking away from the hole in the wall with her head down, Hinata remembered what had happened a few minutes ago. Mito blindly forgot her safety and Naruto risked his safety for hers when she had been nothing but horrible to the few times she had talked to him. Looking up, he saw Mito grinning at her. That grin pissed her off straight away. Good job, Hina-chan, we won because you had captured him so I could use my Rasengan, then you used him as a shield. Good job, said Mito with a toothy smile and thumbs up. That was until she had remembered something, or rather someone. Hey, where's Sasuke? Asked Mito, as she had not seen him fight at all. Looking around, she had seen him sitting on the floor looking bored at her. Hey, why didn't you join in? It was fun kicking the dobes, said Mito, looking down and showing a bit of her B-cup breasts due to her clothing she had currently wore, same as Tsunade except without the green jacket thing. Me trying against that dobe? That would be an insult. No one can beat an Uchiha but another Uchiha. So I wouldn't even needed to try break a sweat to beat the loser, said Sasuke while sticking his nose up with a smirk plastered on his face as he imagined how it must have been easy to beat Naruto on the roof of Kage booth. Well, Madara, I guess most of your clan inherited your stick-up-the-ass attitude, said Hashirama, while looking at the conversation going on between the 4th Hokage's daughter and the Uchiha kid. Shut up, Hashirama Baka. I don't have a personality with a stick shoved up my ass. Got that, tree hugger, said Madara while making the wind blow his hair out while staring at the hole Naruto currently occupied with interest. Naruto had reminded him of Izuna, one of his younger brothers, when he had become serious in certain situations. He would be a problem for Project Tsuki no Mi, but at least it would be fun to fight him later on. After all, there was no better feeling than defeating a strong opponent. Once again looking at the hole, he spoke up. Looks like Naruto's charged up and healed, said Madara with his Sharingan spinning, as he wanted to see one of Naruto's 2 sage modes in action. Ginma, who finally had gotten out of his shock after the conversation, started to call the match out due to likely death. Genin Naruto Uzumaki has lost the Ma. Boom. Everyone looked to where the explosion was, and they had shit themselves. There was Naruto Uzumaki alive and kicking, along with being entirely healed. Then also came the fact of his flying with fire consuming his entire body. Naruto's appearance also had changed a bit, as his clothes now looked like they were made of flames as the edges of all his clothes started to flicker and move as if possessed. Then also came to the look of his face. His whisker marks had thinned more and became defined. His eyes were a deep orange color with a slit pupils and with orange pigments surrounding his eyes. Toad Sage mode pigments, with a little change. Naruto, enjoying himself, decided to call out what technique he was using out to the world. Floating down into the arena with his feet touching the ground, Naruto looked up at everyone in the stadium and called out his new form names: Naruto Uzumaki, the first ever multi-phoenix and dragon sage. When he had said that, multiple things had happened. Every civilian had wide eyes and their jaws hanging on the ground. The shinobi below Jonin were looking at Naruto, then back at the hole in the wall before passing out. The Jonin blinked and stared shocked. The Kage were having heart attacks due to the fact Naruto apparently had a summoning contract with the phoenixes and dragons, even though they didn't know if Naruto really did have the dragon contract and had become a sage for the phoenixes. And the rest of the rookie 15? Well, they were hyperventilating with Shikamaru being the only genin who hadn't looked like he was going to pass out from shock. Mito, Hinata and Sasuke, however, just stepped back in shock as Naruto was standing there, perfectly fine, as if he hadn't had his spine sticking out of his back and half of his body and limbs gone. However, Hinata quickly got over her shock and raced to him and hugged him, noticing that she wasn't being burned at all. How are you alive? Asked Hinata, looking up at her savior, who at this moment was scratching the back of his head and grinning slightly at Hinata. He had answered her, oh, that's simple. As a phoenix sage, I can come back to life or heal from anything if I can go into this form fast enough. So I just took the time I was in the hole in the wall to transform into sage mode, said Naruto with a grin, looking at Hinata's face go through multiple expressions before just staring blankly at Naruto, then just nodding before she called out to Ginma that she surrendered. After that, she went to her father and passed out on his lap. Snickering, Naruto looked at both Mito and Sasuke and then fluctuated his chakra high enough to make both Mito and Sasuke go on their knees. Do you both give up? Said Naruto, looking at the two of them. Seeing Mito shake her head along with Sasuke, he disappeared and appeared next to Mito and knocked her out before chucking her towards the rookie 15 area, dropping his sage mode, which Naruto only needed to use to heal himself after the Buji Rasengan. Naruto walked across the field before speaking up against Sasuke Uchiha. Is it true that only an Uchiha defeat another Uchiha? Asked Naruto, looking at Sasuke, who had returned his cocky smirk back onto his face. Of course. Only the elite can defeat each other. It's not possible for Uchiha to lose against other weak clan members, said Sasuke, looking towards Naruto while crossing his arms, ignoring other clans being pissed off at him for that remark about their clans. Oh, okay, then how about I kick your ass then? Asked Naruto before appearing next to Sasuke and volley kicking Sasuke in the ribs, which had sent him flying toward the arena wall. Appearing once again, Naruto grabbed Sasuke's leg by the ankle, then chucked Sasuke across the arena while appearing at random intervals and either kicking Sasuke or throwing him around more. The Uchihas who had been watching the match winced at the damage Naruto had been giving Sasuke for the past few minutes. Catching Sasuke by the scruff of his shirt, Naruto couldn't help but let out a sigh as the new gravity seals made him even weaker, to a point that his normal taijutsu attacks are only mid-jonin, and his strongest attacks are about mid to high Kage level. Looking at Sasuke, once again asking for Sasuke to submit only to get no answer. Looking down at Sasuke, he saw Sasuke pull out some pieces of paper, and could only wonder what they were. In the stands, two people started sweating. What you got there, Sasuke asked Naruto, looking at Sasuke, who had looked at him with an evil grin, throwing the cards up and using the shunshin to get away. Everyone looked at the photos that Sasuke had thrown up. When Naruto saw one of the photos, he dropped to his knees. He watched as all the photos Sasuke had thrown up and landed in an almost perfect semicircle around him. Now, normally Naruto wouldn't have cared about random photos, but the photos he had seen got his entire interest. Around Naruto were pictures of both Toki and Satsuki, naked with Sasuke and Kiba. There were pictures of everything ranging from sex to dinner. Everyone watched Naruto look through all the photos and could only feel sorry for him. Whenever someone saw him, Toki and Satsuki, they always thought that Naruto would cheat on them and be horrible to them. But that was once again proven wrong after thinking on it for a bit. Every civilian could only watch on as Naruto moved his head side to side looking at each picture. Sasuke, who had taken the time to heal a bit, launched at Naruto, kicking him in the head, and then started to rain down blows on the side of Naruto's cranium as Naruto didn't respond while looking straight at the side of a wall with blank eyes. After a few minutes of wailing on Naruto, which had disgusted most of the civilians because of the fact that someone would do both the photos and physical damage to someone, Sasuke stood up and started to wrap Naruto up in wires and attach him to a wall, while also holding up the tiger seal. Well done, it was fun defeating you. Now, as a favor for Satsuki, time for you to die. With that, Sasuke sent a large fireball/flamethrower straight at Naruto. Stadium. Reserve Genin area. Reserve Chunin area. Reserve Jonin area. Kage booth. That is inhumane. So much for Konoha as a peace-loving village, grunted the Reikage as he couldn't believe what that Uchiha had done to the blonde with red-tipped hair kid. That was interesting, said the Kazekage while looking at Sasuke with hidden glee. But the fourth Hokage could only look at the pictures that his ex-son had seen, and could only imagine if Kushina had done that to him, how traumatized would he be from it. Then looking at the fireball/flamethrower which Sasuke was still powering, he could only imagine his ex-son being burnt to ashes. Roof for Kage booth. Hashirama started to tear at what he had saw. It was truly saddening. Naruto had talked quite a lot of Toki, who was related to him, and Satsuki when they were relaxing or just talking. It hurt seeing his student and friend look like that. Even worse is he couldn't help him due to exposing himself in Edo Tensei form. For Madara, however, it reminded him of his own tragedy before Izuna's death. Like Naruto, he had loved the woman he had chosen to be his girlfriend with all his heart. He would have sacrificed himself for her. But like Naruto, he had been cheated on. It hurt so much he had become even more colder than he was when he was a child. But what was worse were the fact that everyone knew and no one told him. All that time with someone who was faking it hurt. He probably could have found someone who had truly loved him if he had knew later on after recovering from it. But he had only found out before he was going to ask her to marry him. It was because of that he could relate to Naruto on the subject on a personal level, even though he wouldn't admit it. Because of Naruto, he and Hashirama had become friends again, along with Naruto also joining their friendship. Although he would continue with Project Tsuki no Mi, he would gladly like to meet both Hashirama and Naruto after his endgame had finished. Guess he will see what happens then. Naruto before fireball/flamethrower hit. Naruto couldn't do anything, he just kept remembering all the photos of his girlfriends and Kiba and Sasuke screwing with each other, and then a picture of them both holding a pregnancy test with a positive mark on it. The once impossible pillar of Naruto Uzumaki broke, finally cracking under all that he has been through. Naruto cried. He had lost two of the most important people he had held within his heart, and what was worse, Toki and Satsuki had played along with it. Kasumi could only shed tears for her container. Drawing him into the seal, she had her miniature fox form wrap around his neck and nuzzle his face in an attempt to help her container with his problem. It is time, Naruto. The next thing Naruto knows, he is in a purplish room with a single man sitting midair while holding a staff with large circle rings on the end lying flat against his legs. The man had appeared to be the age of around 300 if the fact he had many wrinkles. The old man also had short spiky white hair with two horns. He also had white chin hair that went to his chest, maybe a bit longer. But what really stood out, apart from the horns, was the figure's purple eyes staring directly at him. "Welcome, Naruto Uzumaki. I am sorry you are here at a young age," said the man while looking at the boy before him. "My name is Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the sage of the six paths," said the man, now identified Hagoromo Otsutsuki, staring at Naruto. Raising his hand up, he slowly brought it on Naruto's head. "Naruto Uzumaki, will you be the one to bring true peace to the world?" asked Hagoromo as he stared into Naruto's blue eyes and brought Naruto to a new place altogether.